I can't be distracted this week. This week is potentially verdict week, okay? This is verdict week. This is the most important week, and I did not cover the majority of this trial just to dip out when it's most important. But if you were wondering what happened, like, I told you the truth. Whether you want to accept it, that's on you. You can make up storylines if you want. It's cool. But that was the truth. So we're back here, and let me give you the update on what's going on with the trial. So the trial, and we're going to have to do some backtracking here, people. We got to do some backtracking. So let me give you the overview of what's going on with the trial, okay? Somebody says explaining, bro, is hurting. Yo, chat, I literally tell y'all everything I got going on. Like, it's not over-explaining. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Like, you're not going to came on here and be like, oh, no, I was just busy. Who gives a fuck? Like, half y'all love the drama anyway, some way, somehow. So I'm going to tell you the truth. Fuck. Make up some shit about that. All right. So, we're at the trial. Here's the update on the Diddy trial. And we're going to get to it today. But the reality of what currently is happening in this trial is that Diddy's lawyers basically said we're bringing no witnesses. I'm shocked. Now, remember the prosecutor was supposed to wrap their case this week, which pretty much they're wrapping it, I think today, if not yesterday. I think today. We got into this phase. Again, let me take a step back. We brought up victims, sex workers, assistants, agents, and we brought out, who else? Other people that were ancillary to the beatdowns, the sex parties, all these other things. That's what the government did. They got to a point, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was a little bit shocked. They stopped short of bringing the security guards. No security guard testified. That's shocking. D-Rock, not testified. Roger Bonds, no testimony. D-Rock, Roger Bonds, who else? Uncle Paulie, no testimony. No testimony from any security guards. There's a lot of testimony from assistants. Okay. The person who is being classed and tasked as the Ghislaine Maxwell, Christina Karam. She helped us facilitate things, help him cover up things, help him silence women, blah, 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 blah. No input on the trial. Yet, they claim they've taken her phone. So her phone got confiscated by a subpoena. However, she's not involved in the trial. Now, those things bode well, I think, for Diddy. They did not flip on Diddy. Christina Karam didn't flip on Diddy. And also, I keep telling you, all of Diddy's main eaters, Cassie, Daphne Joy, they flipped. You know who never flipped? The woman who was fucking with him while he was fucking with Cassie, and the woman that was fucking with him while he was fucking with Daphne. Gina Hugh never flipped. She's not involved in the case. And she's the main eater. Word to Young Miami. So, where are we now? They bring out Brendan Paul, and we're gonna go back to that because I want to make sure, you know, again, a lot of this I care about us cataloging all of this, that if later people want to go back to the trial, they could come see this. So Brendan Paul, this drug mule, and when I hear drug mule, I be thinking some other shit. Drug mule, was this nigga swallowing pills? Was he, like, you ever see the drug mules from like Colombia? Like, they'll swallow 15 pills. They're on the fucking plane. Like, if the pills burst inside me, I'm dead. Like, they wear some wigs that got the pills in them. They got all types. This dude was just basically a former college basketball player that just had a plug. You just be like, yo, what y'all want? Y'all want Molly? X? What y'all want? I got it. So the idea, when you hear drug mule, you hear somebody that I'm like, yo, he's probably sticking the drugs up his rectum. Now, here's the thing with private jets. The private jet ain't no TSA. Ain't no TSA like that. So you just bring it on. So in reality, this idea of a drug mule, is overpronounced because the dude ain't bringing nothing that he got to push up his, rectum or anything else. He's just bringing like a little fanny pack or like a cross bag with drugs. Right? So he took the stand. Now, the reason I'm going to have to go over his testimony is because his testimony was more reflective. Brian Steele flipped him. Brian Steele came back in. Flip that nigga. Okay? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to have to go back a bit. Brian Steele flipped him, and that's what I'm hearing from everybody. Like, yo, this guy basically ended up turning into a state witness. Oh, what's this? Fuck? Oh, there's some Trump shit. Okay. Let's see if we could, where is, give me a second. We're going to have to go back. We want to get Brendan Paul. Now, again, remember, we're at the summary part of the case. There shouldn't be any new evidence that's really being introduced. It should be a summary, right? And just give me a second. Because we missed a couple dates, I told you guys exactly why I missed it. Okay. For me, if you ask why I tell you all those details, is that I have nothing to hide from y'all like that. So I hope y'all know, like whether you like the reason or not, at least I told you the truth, right? Here we go. Let's keep going. Oh, also another person that's not going to be in the case, Chef Jordan. So Chef Jordan Atkinson, they said that she would testify between the mom of Cassie, Regina Ventura, and between this other person. Then they said later in the trial, they're resting the case without the chef. Remember, the chef is the person who said, I was instructed to cook up these lavish meals, and a lot of times when I was trying to serve it to Diddy, Diddy would have his dick out. He would be getting his dick sucked. He's in the middle of a freak-off. So she used to serve him food during the freak-off. And she could speak to maybe the commercial aspect of how Diddy had everybody doing things to facilitate the freak-off, yet she's not being actually used in a trial. That's odd. Very odd. Very odd, okay? So the government's case is looking a little bit crazy. They have mentioned a few people that were going to take the stand. Now they've said they're not taking a stand. They mentioned, by the way, there's no James Cruz, no Uncle Paulie, no D-Rock. There's no not James Bond, Roger Bonds. There's no Christina Karam. There is no, who else? Harv Pierre. Like, they don't have a lot of people. The organizational side, they have a bunch of low-level assistants, and then they have some financial people. But the financial people, all they're going to say is that I was never privy to a plot. All I was told was to wire money from A to B. But you need remember, the thing with a RICO, you need someone to acknowledge that there's a plot. Like, oh yeah, we knew that we were wiring money to shut this bitch up. We knew we were wiring money to facilitate the sex trade or the sex trafficking. These people are like, no, we work for Diddy. If he told us to wire money to A, we wire money to A. That's not going into the RICO. So I don't think that the prosecutor's case is looking too good, okay? So the chef is not going to testify. Gina, remember, they listed Gina as one of their witnesses. Not witnesses, victims. Gina, not in the case. Not in the case, people. That is very surprising. Okay. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right. So I'm going to get you guys to Brendan Paul. I know we missed this. So we're going back like 2 days ago at least. Give me a second. We want to make sure we get his whole testimony. By the way, I know some of y'all want me to speak on some Iran and Israel shit. I ain't got nothing to say about that bullshit. Okay. All right. Okay. So I want to read everything from the Brendan Paul thing. Ooh, we finally get the paperwork of how this is what the juries are going to see. Wow. Look. So they're going to give the juries this. This is the verdict sheet. Count 1 of racketeering. Do you say not guilty or guilty? Count 2, sex trafficking of Cassie. Remember I told you that? Guilty or guilty. Now, there's a Mann Act of Cassie. So it's sex trafficking of Cassie, then prostitution of Cassie. It's two different things. Where's the other sheet? There should be another sheet. Where's the other sheet? Where's the other sheet? Fuck. There's another sheet. So the other sheet's going to have count 4, sex trafficking of Jane Doe, then count 5, Mann Act transportation of Jane Doe. Okay? Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. This is looking better and better for Diddy. And this is going to lead up to me kind of breaking down why I do believe Diddy's lawyers, at first, they said they were going to possibly take up to a week on presenting their case. We always kind of knew Diddy was never going to take the stand. Fuck that. They said, we got no witnesses to call. And I think that's strategic. I think everybody we're not hearing, I think if Diddy wanted Gina to get up there, she would get up there. I think if Diddy wanted D-Rock to get up there, D-Rock would get up there. I think if Diddy wanted Uncle Paul to get up there, he'd get up there. I think if Diddy wanted Harv Pierre to get up there, he'd get up there. I think if Diddy wanted Christina Karam to get up there, she'd get up there. Here's the problem. If the government is having a hard time even fully convincing everybody, like, you only really do the most when you feel like, oh, we're going into the fourth quarter down 12. We're going in the fourth quarter down 12. Maybe actually more than 12. 15, 20. We need some haymakers. I think what Diddy's saying is that this is a 50-50 trial. However, by the letter of the law and how they instruct the jury, is going to say if you have any doubt, you cannot say guilty. So why give them people that they could expose on a stand? Diddy's lawyer's been exposing the government's witness. Why give them Uncle Paulie? They clearly want him. Why give them KK? Why give them Roger Bonds? Well, I don't know if Roger Bonds is fully with him. Why give them, who else? Harv Pierre. Why give them, exactly. So I think that's what's happening. So I hate to jump ahead here, but Diddy's team is not putting any witnesses on the stand. There's no defense witnesses. The reason why they had to have a meeting and Diddy's team had to say to each other, I think we're in the lead. We're in the lead. We're in the lead right now. Let's not put the nigga in the game that can't shoot free throws because they're going to just foul him and he's going to miss every free throw. Then they're going to catch up. No. We're ahead. Let's play like we're ahead because we are probably going to get to either a split verdict or a unanimous non-guilty verdict, people. Okay? So, I seen someone just say in the chat, yes, they believe that there's been a lot of doubt. Somebody says, look at change the caption. Oh, what? Okay. All right, I'll look at that. Thank you. Chat. Diddy's team believes they're winning this case. Remember, some of y'all like, of course, we see mad freaky shit. He looks guilty on beating women, blah, blah. But the things he's charged with, they're saying, I don't think y'all have proven a RICO. So why the fuck we gonna keep prolonging this? Now, I know because we know Diddy has an enormous team. He has supposedly 8 or 9 attorneys. We're expecting that it was going to be a long, drawn-out defense. Again, the problem with doing a defense that's long and drawn out and bringing integral people that supposedly either are non-cooperative with the government or somehow retained a lawyer to wiggle out of cooperating with the government, right? They wiggled out of it. Like, again, if you ask me, I think Diddy paid for the attorneys for KK, Uncle Paulie, who else? D-Rock. You know why? None of these people are being charged, and they're not taking a stand. The government has leverage. You would charge them to put them on the stand. So I guess somehow, some way, the government must have lost their leverage because none of these people are charged. You have nothing over them to compel them to testify. If you think that Christina Karam is the Ghislaine Maxwell, you have to charge her that she feels so helpless. She's like, at the end of the day, everybody be like, yo, gang, everybody throwing up signs. But if you say it's your ass or his ass, they'll be like, yeah, that nigga did it. Yeah, that nigga did. But it looks like everybody's lawyered up so well that the government ain't even playing that game. So it looks like they've lost their leverage. All of the main characters are not here except the victims or the people who claim they're victims. Big problem. Okay. By the way, it's 5 counts, as I said. 5 counts. All right. Give me 1 second. Where can we get this Brendan Paul thing? Okay, we get a few pictures that came out from exhibits. I don't know if you guys seen this. Hold on, give me 1 second. There was some audio that got leaked, which is one of the exhibits. This is the audio of Cassie supposedly threatening this guy who said, yo, I seen a video of you getting fucked in a freak off. And Cassie's like, well, send me the video. Like, she wanted to know how it got out there, and she was wilded. But I'm going to be honest with you. She sounded so non-threatening. Like, listen to Cassie basically threaten murder on someone, claiming that she was going to, you know, do some crazy shit if the dude didn't show her the video or tell her how he got it. Listen.
You don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
no, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that pull that up. I'm going to kill you. You don't understand.
By the way, I see someone in the chat said that we should go down, and we're going to break down because I do think we're a few days from the verdict, and I'm sorry for cutting her short here. I'm going to keep playing it. Yeah, we're gonna score this as, you know, fair as we can, and we're gonna break down what witnesses I believe the defense won and ones that I believe that the prosecutor won, because this is really complicated, right? Again, at the end of the day, the jury is sitting there watching everything, but I do think it's gonna be very interesting.
I don't give a I've never killed anybody in my life, but I will kill you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some now you're saying you didn't see some you're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole shit. FYI,
Oh, so Cassie recorded this. So Cassie probably felt like, you know, she was getting extorted. She's trying to jump ahead of it because someone hits her up saying, I have a video. Remember, she later tells everything to Puff because she wants Puff to handle it. But she's also, you can tell, she gives a fuck. She absolutely gives a fuck about her depiction in all of this, right?
Tell me what the you're talking about. Because this is not cool. We're not playing. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Like, you saw some Yes, you're my brother. Be my brother and tell me what you saw.
Okay, so this guy's being elusive to the point that Cassie thinks that he's part of the play trying to get some bread or trying to do whatever with it, right? And she's saying, yo, you're my brother and shit like that, but tell me what the fuck is on the tape. Tell me what the fuck you saw. I didn't know. How'd you get it? How'd you see it? And she's basically saying, yo, if this was you on a video, you do the most to, like, get this shit handled. I'll do the most. I'll fucking kill you. I'll do whatever. I'll get somebody else to do it. And she's kind of talking up herself, but she also even alludes to, then after I kill you, I'm going to get Diddy to kill you.
You're going to be able to find it? Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Okay, by the way, thank you guys for the donations as well. Live from the deck, thing for the 5. It says, which sides will give closing arguments last? Now, sometimes it differs within state and federal court, but in federal court, this is how it works. When it comes to closing arguments, the prosecution goes first and they get the last word. Why? The burden of proof is on the prosecution. This is why they go first and they end last, which means the prosecution delivers closing arguments. The defense delivers their closing arguments. Then the prosecution gets a chance to rebut it. Okay? It's usually on a time clock. So it'll be like, hey, if you took 3 hours to do closing arguments, they'll give maybe the same. They'll give the same to the defense. You get 3 hours as well. But if you want to rebut it, remember, it's all on the prosecution. This is why even in this Diddy case, it's not on Diddy to really present a defense, even though some people feel like it's effective to present a defense. It's on the prosecution to prove this man is guilty. So they'll give them the first word and the last word in closing arguments, right? So they'll speak, defense team will speak, then they'll speak one more time for a short period of time, and then judge's instructions, and then the jury will go away, okay? Now, before all that happens, they're going to have these meetings to kind of dictate what type of verbiage, what type of exhibits, what type of things that the jury could see that they're not scrambling in the last minute, but they're going to argue about that, which I believe is going to happen. They might even send the jury home early before just to argue for half a day to be like, yo, you can't show them this exhibit. They can't see that. Yo, you have to give them adequate instruction about blah, 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 blah in understanding the charge prior to them going into that room, because also it's an argument of, imagine you get into the room, you're arguing, and now, these are 12 people that's arguing, and you're like, whoa, da-da-da-da. Well, I need a clarification on that. Certain things the judge can't give you a clarification on, and that's all kind of like negotiated or agreed upon before they go into the room. Whereas like, hey, listen, this is what the letter of the law says. If they need any more clarification on that, because sometimes the jury, like for example, in the Y&W Melly case, there was a possibility that they said if the jury wanted to go see the car that was shot up, it was a possibility. Remember the Y&W Melly case, he kills his friends in the car. And, kudos to the defense team. They're like, what the fuck? Like, if you bring them to the scene where there's dried up blood and they're going to see bullet holes, like, they're going to be prejudiced. Fuck no. So they actually shot that down. But that was one of the things where, like, oftentimes a jury could even say, yo, bring us the murder weapon. We want to see. Like, she's a small girl. If it's a big ass gun, we want to see if it makes sense to us that she could hold the gun with one hand. All those things could happen when it comes to the jury. And obviously nothing like that. No one's going to be like, yo, bring us the baby oil, right? But these are things that could happen. And this is exactly why when it comes to like this situation, Diddy's lawyers are playing it close. They're trying to make sure they don't cheddar bob themselves by offering up a witness that probably, isn't needed or could get flipped or get exposed. And also making sure the jury is going to have adequate instructions that they know exactly what they're voting for and that they're not voting off emotion, because that's the big thing, right? You've listened to this entire trial. You've seen 55 videos and 12 people like testify that Diddy was beating these women. So you think Diddy's a really bad person, which shit, I mean, if you keep hearing about his abuse, of course he's a bad person, but he's not on trial for that. You need to take your emotions out of it and vote based on what he's charged with, right? Let me keep playing this.
Yeah, but
No, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that.
Okay, so to answer that question live from the deck, we're going to have Diddy's, we're going to have the prosecution give the last word. It's going to be time though, okay? Ruger Red, thank you for all the gifted. And somebody says, I changed that caption on the Kendrick verse. Stephen Victor corrected on your post. Oh, so thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Somebody says, who ripped up your passport, bro? I don't know. My ex's like little boyfriend. I guess I don't know why my ex took my passport, but I needed it because number one, I was gonna go to the Toronto show, and so I needed my passport. Couldn't find it. I hit my ex up. I'm like, yo, you have my passport? She says yes. I'm like, all right, I need the shit. I gotta go to Toronto. I'm going to the Kendrick show again. Then she says, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy I'm talking to like was in his feelings and ripped up your passport. And I'm like, what? Like that's like a federal crime. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on with them. Like nigga ripped up my passport. And anyway, that's another reason I didn't stream. Cause I had to get an emergency passport. Remember I told you I was going to Turks. I had to go to the passport office. I'm standing outside New York City, just standing in line for dumb long. Because this like little emotional nigga, like, I don't know what the fuck she told him. The nigga sees my passport in her stuff and fucking supposedly cuts it up. One of those ones. It's all good. I got a new passport. with the new braids. You know, I'm looking good. It's good. But that was like, yo, who does that? You know? Anyway. Who else? What? Somebody said Ack is Selena OF cameraman. Stop it, bro. Jermaine says Ack is 2025. We've been watching for years. We know when you're spinning us. I'm not spinning you about nothing. I'm telling you the exact truth. I don't care if y'all look at me good or bad, because some of y'all, there's a group of people in here, they're gonna look at me when I say that 6ix9ine is fucking with Selena. They're gonna be like, nah, Ack, you're getting cooked. And I'm like, no, Selena's been my friend for years. Like, she even asked me, she was like, yo, I don't know if you know, but I went to Orlando, because he had a show on there. I went to Orlando with him, This after I left Miami. She was like, you don't mind if like, we're like kind of back fucking with each other. I'm like, no, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? As long as you're not tying the story to Act, like, just keep doing y'all and keep having fun. I love it, right? But Selena's my friend. She's my friend, or not really she is my friend, but she's the greatest project I've had of any woman, right? Whereas at least I turned somebody into a millionaire, one person. You know, they say Act don't make nobody. I definitely made her, right? So I don't care. All right. Big homie Ty, thank you for the membership. And it says, Act, you started this 30 days in March. Glad to have you streaming today. YB Massa, July 4th, we're lit. Oh, I can't wait. So I said, Ack, have you ever been held hostage? Let's not make this no streaming a habit. Okay. I wasn't held hostage. Miss Deb, hey, I love you, girl. She says I was going to send the damn Army Brigade to find your ass. We missed you. And then Jermaine, like, he don't give a fuck. He said, Ack, stop taking off. I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. And I respect it. Okay, cool. So, all right, bet. I'm trying to find Brendan Paul. I'm trying to find, like, his thing. Right. Call Nikki. Okay, we'll talk about Nikki and JayZ. Brother, I'm going to tell you, like, I had posted something online, and I said, Nikki, stay, like, yo, you know not to fuck with Jay. And it's not necessarily fucking with Jay, because I don't think Jay is, like, this terrible person. But I think the brand of Rock Nation is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to hip-hop, because they have the most likable or one of the lovable hip-hop aficionados and legends that we have, JayZ. That's the face of it, but they do nothing but fuck with other black artists. I've never heard them fucking with a white artist, ever. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all they do is, like, they're trying to create a monopoly. Like, they want to be, Rock Nation wants to be Live Nation. You know how Live Nation is with touring? You can't really tour without Live Nation. Like, trust me, they will fuck your whole shit up. Trust me, I told you they did this in Sexy Red, Moneybagg Yo, and even Lil Baby, and they were trying to strong arm Rod Wave. I know this personally. I'm talking to these people's teams. That's what Live Nation is. Rock Nation, which is a subsidiary of Live Nation, because they got a deal that's under Live Nation, they want to do the same thing to hip-hop, but they want to do it with all artists. So, like, it's funny because JayZ talks all this, like, he loves artist shit, but his label and conglomerate bully artists, they do the worst things to artists. Like, everything, I remember I told you everything about Bobby Shmurda. Go watch his fucking Vlad interview. I feel like I'm going off topic, but go watch his Vlad interview. Just go watch his Vlad interview if you thought I was lying at all. Yo, Bobby Shmurda's career got killed by Rock Nation, my nigga. Like, this is why you got him lining up and doing all this weird stuff on Instagram, because Rock Nation killed his career. Rock Nation, he was going broke. Rock Nation, because Epic wouldn't give him no more money because he was locked up for years. They was just holding his contract. Rock Nation's like, we're going to manage you. We'll give you some bread. He needed bread. We'll give you some bread, blah, 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 blah. All we need you to do, you have to help us force your way out of Epic Records contract. Bro, Epic Records is the premier rap label on Sony. Like, you think Sony's trying to get bullied by motherfucking Rock Nation? So they're like, all right, we're not going to go to war with you, but fuck Bobby. Like, we'll just sacrifice his career. So Bobby became a sacrificial lamb, all because of Rock Nation. And if y'all ever think I'm lying about any of these things, this is what I be trying to say. When people be talking about Rock Nation, I'm not talking about the right shit. Y'all have to talk about the right shit. If y'all don't talk about the right shit, look, Rock Nation, go watch his Vlad interview. He's giving it up on there. Look.
Quavo's there to pick you up.
Quavo picks me up.
Right.
Yeah, I told you the situation. Epic wouldn't pay like $3 million for him to get out of jail. It was maybe $4. I think it was $4 million for him to get out of jail. They're like, we don't know, but we're gonna keep his contract. Roc Nation comes in because they know he's about to get out. Everybody in the culture is like, yo, he held it down. This is a real nigga. This is also after the time with 6ix9ine, so people are like, yo, we're gonna celebrate the realest nigga. Roc Nation comes in to say, oh shit, this guy's gonna get shit ton of money. He's going to be the most lit nigga because he's the definition of keeping it real. They come in, they offer to advance him some money to help out his fam. They're like, yo, we'll give you some bread, blah, blah, blah. All we want is that we want to manage you and eventually sign you. Bobby's in jail. Bobby says, of course, I want to sign to y'all. Let's go. Y'all are helping me out. When he gets out, Epic is no punks. Epic literally looks at Roc Nation and looks at Bobby and says, check this out. Whatever y'all had planned, you're still under contract to us. Now, Roc Nation could buy us out and you could go over there, but we know what you're worth. They're going to have to give us that. Now, this is what fans never know. Bobby's not like, remember Bobby didn't drop music at first? All this was happening in the background. Roc Nation, and this is why I say they're bullies. They didn't want to pay Epic what they should have paid him. If you want the nigga so bad because you think he's the realest and he's blah, blah, pay Epic, get them out the way, and it's your artist now. By the way, they've done this multiple times. They did this with motherfucking Meg Thee Stallion. Yo, if you're claiming 1501 is so bad, just pay them. When somebody's in a contract, don't try to use our cultural clout to get them out. Pay the money to get them free, and you sign them. But they're cheap, and they use this cultural flag, and then they ruin people's careers. They'll sacrifice the artists. So Bobby, like, he's stuck in the middle. The company says, pay us. They don't want to pay him. They want Bobby to rebel against Epic. Bobby can't rebel against Epic because Bobby's still under contract. He's trying to drop new music. If you can't diss Epic, like, fuck Epic and then drop a song. Like, they're going to feel away. So he's kind of like playing it neutral. They want Bobby to turn it, like they've done this before. They did it with Uzi. They wanted Uzi to turn against Generation Now. They want the artist to crash out against their current label that they could be seen as the good guys as, oh, we're coming to sign you. Bobby didn't do it, or he couldn't do it. And then they wouldn't pay, so Bobby's in limbo. Here's who hurts when an artist is in limbo. The artist, because the artist's career is stagnant. They can't move. And you know everybody who gets out of jail, that clout only lasts for a certain amount of time. So Bobby couldn't drop no music. His clout is in limbo. And they're basically saying, we're not going to pay. And Epic is like, what the fuck? Epic sees the play and says, all right, well, we're not going to fund this anymore. Pay us, or we're down to take that loss on Bobby. We'll just live off his past catalog. If you want him in this hot period of him getting out, pay us. None of that happens. And essentially what happens, they drain Bobby. Pause. They just let him sit there. Clout decreases. Nothing happens. Roc Nation eventually realized Bobby isn't worth as much as they thought he would be, because now it's months after, it's like a year after. They're down to let him go. Epic ain't down to put no more money into Bobby. Bobby basically gets dropped. Bobby's now independent, and two companies fighting over him fucked him over. They fucked him over. Like, now the niggas doing hoochie daddy dances. Hoochie daddy. Like, that's it. So again, when people tell me about Roc Nation, I'll be like, bro, please just like yo, Roc Nation is the most anti-cultural company I could see. And I'm not saying it's because of JayZ, it's because of their practices. They use JayZ's face to do it. Because it's not JayZ doing these things. It's Desiree and her people. They're doing it. But JayZ's face is on Roc Nation. It's The Rock. Duh. So anyway, just listen to how this nigga talks about it.
Were you guys in contact the whole time?
He hit me like 2-3 times during the bit, and they like, yo, he called somebody. I forgot Lefty. I was left, or my mom. Somebody he called him. He's like, yo, I want to come pick Bobby up. Hey, bro. But they brought some hoes.
Right. No time for sleep.
Yeah, we did no. I did no time
Management.
I signed with 10 was like 7 months later.
Right, and around that time, you signed with Roc Nation Management.
I signed with Op Nation. I mean Roc Nation.
Brother, it's not me saying this. This is fucking documented. Why is Bobby Shmurda? Do y'all remember when Bobby Shmurda was putting on all them fucking hats with the fucking plane on it? Bobby Shmurda, Rock Nation hat. Y'all remember that? If y'all remember that, the nigga he came home. They put on a hat on him as soon as he went up to the office, saying he was a Rock Nation property, and you never heard nothing more about him. Shit, I don't know if I can find it, but I remember like he had went to the joint and they put on a Rock Nation hat on that nigga. I don't know if y'all remember. It's gonna take me a while to look for it. It's just not worth it to stop the stream. They put on this fucking hat right here, this little thing right here. They put it on him, and they gave him like a little gift bag, like, nah, yo, it's The Rock. He's over here doing all this dumb shit. Then they killed his fucking career because they were cheap. They didn't want to pay for him. They killed his career. So Bobby's now like beefing with hookers in Miami and doing all type of dumb shit, with all due respect, and getting called out for not being able to book tours. Yeah, because Sony, the major label, Rock Nation is not a major label. Sony, Music Entertainment, Epic Records, who signs Future, 21 Savage, and all them other people, they do big business. They realize that Bobby is a tug and war, and they're like, okay, fuck it, we'll just blackball you. We don't give a fuck about you. Let Rock Nation get it popping with you. Then Rock Nation, when they had to realize they have to spend their own money to get him hot, they said, you ain't that important. They dipped. Suckers. I'm sorry. This is some sucker shit.
I'm sorry. I'm drunk.
And then y'all got to also ask yourselves, why is everybody scared to talk about Rock Nation? Look, he just said Rock Nation. He called it Op Nation. Then he has to, oh, my bad, I forgot. Nobody could talk directly about him. Why? Just do the math.
Rock Nation. Yeah, 7 months later.
Right. And around that time, you signed with Rock Nation Management.
I signed with Op Nation. Rock Nation. I'm sorry. I'm drunk. Yeah. Who the fuck gave you Hetty? Yeah.
Well, I remember you were talking about you had a conversation with JayZ after signing to Rock Nation.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Huh?
Didn't he tell you like you were just into too
Look at this nigga. You could tell spooked when you see it. Look at him.
too much drama or something like that? Or?
Nah, he ain't telling me that. I don't want to talk about JayZ.
Okay, fair enough.
Look at this man's eyes. And that's all I'm trying to tell you. If we talk about black excellence and all this good shit, you should never have to talk about a black man's company and be this fucking like, whoa. This is how we talk about Michael Rubin and like white party shit and all these other people that we're calling colonizers and shit like that. That's how you should talk about them. You should be talking about the white executives that's supposedly doing crazy shit. You shouldn't be talking about a nigga from Marcy Projects and you're from New York and his company. When you talk about him, you're like kind of scared. Yeah, he's fucking scared because JayZ basically killed his fucking career. Not JayZ, but like JayZ's company, right? Because I don't think Jay did it himself. It's his company operating on his face.
Wait, now I said, JayZ now playing.
You see? Why everybody so scared?
I ain't fucking with Jay. What up, nigga? What up, nigga?
So,
yeah, Spurty gang.
So, come on. Yo, listen. I hate to get conspiracy theory on y'all, but like, if y'all think that this is like, oh no, this is completely normal, y'all got it. Y'all got it.
You're out. You got a song with Quavo, who's hot to death at the time.
Yeah, well,
you signed with Rock Nation.
Let me tell you this. If y'all didn't know anything about Rock Nation, JayZ was doing this reform shit, still is. Same with Meek Mill. Meek Mill brought Dream Chaser Records over there. Why Dream Chaser Records not on Rock Nation if Rock Nation is so cool and so great? A nigga who would do his own man's dirty, what do you think he would do to a nigga he don't give a fuck about? Now again, I'm not blaming this on Jay. I'm saying this is how the company moves. Rock Nation moves like a company that is not a cultural company. They move like a company that is using and finessing their cultural equity because of JayZ to sabotage, violate, steal artists, and get what they want. That to me is some crazy shit. And I'm showing you the living examples of people who got affected by it. I'm not making this up. Go talk to Bobby Shmurda. Go talk to Lil Uzi. Go talk to Meg Thee Stallion, even though she still fucks with him. But the only reason why she still fucks with him, they're going to go dumb hard for her because of this Tory shit. Like, they know the most thing she care about is to make sure Tory is. They're gonna handle that for her. So she ain't got the beef with her like other people had with them. But any other artist that's only about career, just look what happened.
You know, everyone's happy to have Bobby Shmurda back home. I mean, how did it feel? Did you do all 7 years or?
I did 6.
Okay.
Jet. I had like 7 bitches on a jet. It just be like that, son. Nigga don't be gay, nigga just crazy, bro.
Okay. And I got a 70-year-old lady running my label, and I love her dearly.
Now you talking about the label stuff.
Well, by 2022, you start being vocal about your issues with Epic. You said
And
that,
I'm telling y'all what the issues is. Epic did hold him in a contract. Epic held him in a contract. That's a fact. But Epic basically said, y'all don't have the like, this is how business works. If you sign a basketball player, and let's say they were injured or they went to jail, but you still have contractual rights to them, someone else can't just come underneath you and just be like, well, they're mine now. No, pay me my money. It's the same thing with Caribou and Yachty. Caribou, you could go do whatever you want to do. Just pay Yachty his fucking money. He signed you. You're still on the contract. You want to get out, go do whatever you want with whoever else. Pay the money. This is how regular industry shit works. Here's the problem. Rock Nation don't want to pay. You can't be cheap and be bullies. Like, come on now. So when Epic realized that, Epic says, oh, y'all trying to bully us and y'all trying to think y'all going to use cultural shit. All right, freeze on Bobby. Bobby's on the shelf. We don't give two fucks about Bobby anymore. Rock Nation, they don't care because they're playing chess. They're like, we could either pay the money or we could just be like, all right, we'll lose this battle because there's other battles they're fighting. Rock Nation and Sony been going at it for a long time. So Bobby's just a casualty of war.
the label's holding you hostage and you wanted to get out. You said, I got a 70-year-old lady running my label and I love her dearly, but doesn't want to let me go at all, no matter what I do. I've been signing them since I was 19. I did 6 years in jail trying to get off this label before I came home. You name one person in the industry, a label keeps signing in jail for 6 years. Yeah, I know. I made them more millions than they ever gave me. Just let me go.
You name me one person, they named held in jail 6 years. Listen, I still love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't love me, but I still love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? I still love you. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. They know what it is. Listen, it's all love. You heard? I ain't got nothing but love for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone.
Look at Bobby, man. So hurt, and I understand, brother. I understand. Okay, my bad for going on that little tirade. Live from Texas, Bobby was easily supposed to have the biggest rollout on the planet. He was young, had a big case, did time, and held it down. Again, I keep trying to tell y'all, this is what happens when labels, it's so much politics and it's so much business. Music business, all about business. By the way, this is the $46,000 that Diddy paid for the damage to the Intercontinental Penthouse Suite. $46,000. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, this was loss and penthouse damages. What type of fucking are you doing? Wow. You know what's so funny with this being like a government exhibit? Like, oh yeah, here's the money that he lost. How is this proof of a crime? That Diddy fucks up hotel rooms? It seems like he's just having parties. Well, I guess if you're saying the parties are like, sex trafficking, but whatever, well, I guess. All right, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get to this Brendan Paul thing. Here we go. Is it this? Cool. All right. I think this is it. Just trying to find. Okay, cool. So chat, just to let you know, we're going back a little bit. I know I missed some days, but, we pride ourselves here by being thorough, by not missing anything, by not going for summaries. We want to see everybody's point of view. If you're in court, we want to read every potential part of a transcript And since we missed a day or two, we're going to read these things in now, okay? So for me, I didn't care too much about the case agents. Yeah, they found baby oil. Okay, cool, we get it. I wanted to hear from the drug mule, because now y'all have told me this is the drug mule who is like bringing in all the drugs, and his only job is to just have mad drugs that he's feeding these women surreptitiously, or, giving it to Diddy that he could drug women with to do this sex trafficking empire. So I want to kind of see what it's about, okay? So give me a second. We're going to get into it. All right. So this was the 20th. I think that was Friday. Was that Friday? Let me look. The 20th. Yep, it was Friday. Okay. So before they get in, they're just introducing a bunch of exhibits. That's what the AUSA was doing. Let me make this a little bit smaller for y'all. By the way, I know I didn't do full roll call today, but everybody really check in. Okay, cool. So all right, they're gonna do all got admitted. Well, all are gonna be under seal except one, and they were admitted. And Smizer said the government's going to call Brendan Paul. So we got Brendan Paul, the drug mule, now on the stand. AUSA says, do you recognize this person? They show a person in tuxedo. Brendan Paul says, yeah, that's Sean Combs. I worked for him until I was arrested at a Florida airport for possession of cocaine in my personal assistant bag. They said, why was it there? They said, well, I was sweeping Mr. Combs' room. They said, how did you come to work for Mr. Combs? They said, well, through revolt. Eli Maroon, he told me, get in, get out. If you have a girlfriend, break up with her. You'll never see her. I said, did you ever interview? I said, yeah, it was late October 2022 at 200 South Mapleton Drive. That's his LA house, okay? They said, how were you greeted there? He said, my ID was scanned. I had to sign an NDA. Frankie Centella and Christina Karam was there. I said, did they hire you? He says, yes. I would pack a lot of joints in the garage. They said, joints? He says marijuana, okay? AUSA says, when did you meet Mr. Combs? He said, KK came to the garage and told me to come to a listening party in the backyard and take notes. So what was KK's role? She was the chief of staff. She helped out with the family. They said, did KK use Mr. Combs' phone? He says, yes. So how many assistants did Mr. Combs have? Brendan Paul says, at first 5, then 4, then 2, and given my college basketball background, I helped Mr. Combs with his workout. So who is this? This is that's Jonathan Perez. We've heard that name a lot. Saying, who is this? Said, this is a butler. We've never heard this name. Frank Rodriguez. He said, what did Mr. Combs' butler do? He would stand next to Puff. He would give him water, chapstick, whatever he needed. Why does it sound like what's that nigga name? Farnsworth Bentley. He always came off like a butler to me, not an assistant, like a butler, right? Cool. He said, do you have group chats with KK? He says, yes. He said, turn to the binder and flip through it. He said, who is this? He says, that's Fahim. We call him Fa. So what was your salary? It was $75,000. Then it was $100,000. I got paid bi-weekly by Combs Enterprises. AUSA says, where did you live? Paul says, in an Airbnb in LA and Miami. AUSA said, where did KK stay? In LA. There was an apartment 4 minutes from 200 South Mapleton in Miami in Two-Star Island. And they said, do you accompany Mr. Combs to paid club appearances? I said, yes. He would ask for $150,000 and they'd have to sell things for him. Wow. Diddy was getting $150,000 for a club appearance? Holy shit. That's a lot. Wow. So what did you do to stay awake? Well, I'll do prescription Adderall and sometimes cocaine. And so what was your job? To make sure that Combs was always happy. He'd say, I don't take no for an answer. He told us to move like SEAL Team 6. Said, Combs ever fire you? Yeah. I forgot his Lululemon fanny pack. What the fuck? I thought that was for females, chat. Lululemon? I thought that was for a female brand. I forgot his Lululemon fanny pack when he went on a walk. He said, I don't want to see your face anymore. Tell KK you're fired. So what would you do? I bought a Lululemon fanny pack. Get it in, and I laid low. AUSA says, did you ever complain to HR? He says, no, that wasn't a thing. He said, why not? So HR even forgot to pull my federal taxes for my first 8 months. You just go to Mr. Combs. It said, did Combs ever use drugs? Yeah. Ecstasy, cocaine, a little bit more than that. It says, what do you see in this photo? It's my hand with ecstasy and 2C. That's pink cocaine. So why'd you take the photo? It's to ask the staff what to do with it after I found it. I was told to put it in his bag. They said, did you buy marijuana for him? Yes. For whom? For Philip Pines. Puff liked Sunset Sherbert. It says, were there other drug dealers that Mr. Combs used? It says, yes. One Stop Guido, Baby Girl. I think it's spelled O-E-I. They said, who is this? It said, that's Guido, okay? It said, is this your chat with Baby Girl? What's happening? Brendan Paul says, Jonathan Perez is introducing me to Baby Girl. She asked me, is it for you or Puff? I replied, it's for Puff, but tell anyone it's for me. It said, why did you say that? And said, well, Puff is high profile, so we'd use an alias. It says, did Mr. Combs ever use Cialis? It says, yeah, we put it on a nightstand. It says, your message to Love Red Phone, what does it mean? I called Puff Love. His red phone was personal. The business phone was yellow. He says, what did he text you? Xans. How much did you pay for drugs? Well, I paid in cash from the Gucci bag or from security, usually Fahim. So another security that's not taking a stand that we keep hearing about, Fahim. AUSA says, and in this text, what is flowers? It says flowers is marijuana. So did you also call it tree? He said, yes. Here, Fahim tells me I'll get back paid once Duke, I guess that's another security, comes on shift. AUSA says, did Mr. Combs ever have you take drugs? Brendan Paul says, yes. He usually had me test his 2C. Oh my God. Diddy was doing so much drugs. He would actually have, hold on, by the way, chat, I'm about to tweet out our link. He would have, give me 1 second. He would have Brendan Paul test the drugs. I don't know if he's doing it because he thinks maybe the drugs are like, spiked or whatever, but he would have someone test his drugs. Sorry, Chad. Wow, okay. He says, yeah, to test his 2C. He says, did you want to take it? I wanted to prove my loyalty. AUSA says, what were Wild King nights? That was Mr. Combs and his significant others. Hilarious, others. That was their drug and sex night, okay? Did Jane participate in Wild King nights? Yes. Did Mr. Combs' other girlfriends participate in Wild King nights? Not that I'm aware of. So remember, this guy, he wasn't around for the Cassie era. This is post-Cassie. So he's basically almost saying the only Wild King nights he knows of participation was Jane Doe. So maybe Gina never participated, even though Young Miami seemed to, insinuate that Gina was a participant. Okay. It said, who called them Wild King nights? KK. I just say he's going to hotels. AUSA says, did Mr. Combs ever stop using hotels and move back into the residences? Paul says, yes, after the Cassie lawsuit. So after the Cassie lawsuit, he stopped using hotels. He would just do his freak-offs in the houses. So what did you do? He said, well, I would clean up after. He said, what does this say? That Jane is coming in, Brendan is setting it up, and it was a Wild King night, probably. I guess that was a text from KK. So where did you make the reservation this time? He says, well, we made it at Nobu. It says, where was this Wild King night at? This was at the Jane's residences. I wrote, I'm running to Walmart for them. KK says, Wild King mode activated or Gucci bag active? What did you say? Between the two. How did you know what to buy for Combs' Wild King night? We had a shared document in the notes app. It says, who was responsible for the Astroglide? Paul says it was the property manager. I didn't think 200 South Mapleton manager was good. So, photo. It says, I took the photo to show the manager how to lay out the Astroglide in her bedroom. How'd you put in for the cash that, because you paid for it? It says, Robin and TriStar, which I think this is the accounting company, they would pay him back. It says, did Mr. Combs contact you from Wild King nights? It says, yes, he would contact me by voice note or a FaceTime. It says, he'd call me to get a sex outfit, but he'd never call me back. He says, how did you usually clean up? He says, I wore gloves. He said, why? Sanitary reasons, duh. The AUSA says, is this photo of the day of your arrest? He says, yes, it was March 25th, 2024. We were on a rented jet. AUSA says, the cocaine you were arrested with, whose was it? Was it Mr. Combs? Brian Steele says, objection. Sustained. Says, was it yours? He says, no. Was it Mr. Combs? Objection. Overruled. Mr. Combs? It says, no, well, Paul says, Mr. Combs. What did you do after the arrest? So it was a diversion program, a drug treatment. No further questions. Here's the cross. So now I've heard a lot about this cross. Apparently, Brian Steele does, he does wonders here. Okay. Says you walked up to play. I guess walked on. You walked up to play basketball at Syracuse for iconic coach, right? Yeah. You played for UNC, but then COVID ended it, right? Yeah. You weren't just a drug mule, right? Objection from the AUSA. Overruled. I wasn't just that. Steele says, it was a minor part of what you did, right? Absolutely. Steele says, what about like personal use? The judge says, rephrase. He says, this is Steele. He's like, the hotel's night, were they work or were they like personal? And AUSA objects again. The judge says, rephrase. It says, okay. It was Mr. Combs and Jane. That was their relaxation, personal night, right? From your observation. Brendan Paul says yes. Did you see Jane Doe as hesitant in any of these situations? Brendan Paul says, I did not. He says, if you ever saw some non-consensual activity, would you have continued to work there? Objection. Sustained. Okay, you got to rephrase again. You wouldn't work for a criminal, would you? Brendan Paul says no. He says, do you care about your reputation? He says yes. You were arrested for 27 grams of cocaine. Barely personal use, right? It was a mistake, right? He says yes. Saying the case was dismissed? Yes. Did the drugs make Sean more focused? Says yes, he got extremely creative. As you sit here today, are you indebted to Mr. Combs? Brendan Paul says, I've had good experiences for the most part. Steele says no further questions. Ooh, okay. AUSA says sidebar before the redirect. The judge says yes, they do a sidebar. And then there's a redirect. AUSA says, did you know what was happening in the Wild King nights? Objection by Mr. Steele. Rephrase. Were you there? Paul says no. What do you think the $5,000 were for? That's what the AUSA is asking. Objection. Sustained. Did you give Mr. Combs $5,000 in cash in another context? Nah. You said you wouldn't work for a criminal, but you bought drugs for Mr. Combs. Yes, I did. More than like 5 times, but less than 10. How did you feel about Mr. Combs? Okay? It's complicated. AUSA, no further questions. Steele actually says no recross. The judge says you may go. So really, that was pretty quick. I don't know if Steele exposed them, but that's what I heard. Let me look really quickly. I had heard that he got exposed, So let me go to Friday. I just want to hear what that was about. Here we go.
U.S. versus Sean Combs, day 27. We had a half day today. And right off the bat, I just want to share some scheduling info. The government will most likely rest their case at the end of the day on Monday. And the defense said that their case in chief may only last 1 to 2 days. So they could rest as soon as Wednesday afternoon. And then we could do closing arguments Thursday or Friday. So that was pretty big. I mean, I'm not taking any of this conclusively, but I wanted to just alert everybody as far as scheduling goes. And the judge also discussed jury charges being discussed next Wednesday afternoon as well. Okay, so let's go to our first witness of the day, Brendan Paul. Brendan Paul was the person that was arrested in March of 2024 at a Miami airport, and all of the headlines said that it was Diddy's drug mule that was arrested, his drug dealer.
Yeah.
No, that really couldn't be further from the truth. Brendan Paul was a personal assistant of Diddy's, and he's actually a pretty impressive guy. He went to Syracuse. He was a walk-on college basketball player. He even played in the NCAA tournament. I think it was in 2019. But he testified that he was arrested, and that's kind of what ended his employment in March 25th, 2024. And what happened was he was cleaning one of Diddy's hotel rooms. He saw, I guess it was 0.07 of a gram. What is it? I don't even know how I don't know how to talk about drugs, but it was like 0.007 grams of cocaine, whatever that means. And he
I thought it was 27 grams.
Found it, he took it with him, and he forgot that he had it on him. So at the airport, when they searched him, they found it, and he actually did not snitch. He never said whose it was. And just skipping ahead a little bit, he did say he had a great lawyer, so he ended up getting those charges dropped. He did some community service.
Oh, okay. So she's giving more context. It looks like he didn't really blame the drugs on Diddy, but he basically did admit that, like, yo, he said he saw the drugs at the crib when he's cleaning up, and he picks up the drugs. But none of this says Diddy instructed, because you gotta remember this drug trafficking charge. It's not charged. It's kind of like pretty much one of the predicate offenses, right? That Diddy was instructing people to bring drugs. He's listed as, this is the infamous drug mule for Diddy. He's saying, nah, Diddy didn't tell me to do that. Like, I found some drugs while I'm cleaning up. I forgot I had it in my bag, and I got caught at the airport. That's it. You know? And I guess they kind of whittle out of him that basically he believes the drugs were for Diddy, but he wasn't instructed by Diddy, bring those drugs, right? And I don't even think he admitted that KK told him that, which, by the way, I think we have to remember Jane Doe, it said on the stand, KK told her to bring drugs in her travel bags, right? But Brendan Paul is not saying that.
Service and took some classes and whatnot. But he testified that he had never spoken to Diddy since that arrest, and he hadn't seen him either. So he started working for Diddy at the end of 2022. So he worked for him for about 18 months, let's say. And he talked about some of his duties, which were just organizing Diddy's suitcases, doing Amazon returns, coordinating with the chefs. And he also said that he packed he packed a lot of I'll say that again. He packed a lot of joints in the garage. That was part of his duty. He also said that he did do some drug runs for Diddy, and he testified though that he only spent about between $100 and $500 for these said drugs, which could be anything from cocaine, ecstasy to prescription pills. He once was tasked to get Diddy Xanax, but he wasn't able to find it, but he said another assistant did. The government also asked him a lot about who he communicated with. Was it more KK? Was it other assistants? Was it Diddy himself? I think they were trying to bring KK in a lot as this alleged co-conspirator. He also talked about some of the travel booking. He brought up Jessica Ruiz, who we now know is the person that was in charge of travel. We've seen her name pop up a lot. And he testified that he worked between 80 and 100 hours a week. He made $75K to start, then made $100,000 when he left. And he set up hotel rooms for king nights a number of times, not a ton. And he cleaned up after these king nights as well. Again, a handful of times. He said that he wore gloves because it was a little bit unsanitary, probably slippery, I'm guessing. And he also said that when he first started, Eli Marone, one of the other assistants, told him that he should just use this job to get in and get out, break up with his girlfriend, and also don't expect to see your family and friends ever. And let's see. He talked about
none of this is like giving crimes, right?
only witnessing Diddy doing drugs maybe once or twice, and that one time Diddy asked him to do a drug. It was like K2, I think it is what it's called.
Diddy was smoking K2? That's how you do it, right? Smoke it, right? Ain't that like some Florida shit?
which is like a form of ketamine and Molly. And Diddy wanted him to try it to see if it was good. And Brendan Paul said he tried a little bit of it, but he wasn't upset about it because he wanted to prove his loyalty. He also talked about staying up for 3 days straight with naps here and there, working on a special project in 2023, which...
Now, I do want to say this. Most of the assistants that came on the stand, and again, I'm not casting any aspersions, but I want to kind of break this down. A lot of the assistants, the males, were gay. Okay, David James, there's another guy, I forgot his name. Like, there's a couple gay assistants. And they all kind of, like, give this same testimony. I was scared. Diddy was so big and bad, I couldn't say no to him. This is the first guy who's literally, like, taking accountability. Now, I think we're used to women not taking accountability. We're like, no. Wait, well, why did you, for example, in this Brendan Paul thing, why did you take the drugs if Diddy wanted you to test it? Oh, I wanted to prove my loyalty. I wasn't mad about it. I wanted to prove my loyalty. I wanted to show him that I'm down, right? Like, he could have been like, oh, I felt scared of Diddy. Diddy was going to beat me. I needed money. Like, he could have said all that, but he's literally just taking accountability. He's like, I wanted to prove my loyalty. I'm trying to get in with these people. Yo, I'm loyal with y'all. Like, what's up? Like, of course I take the drug, right? You notice that everybody else saying it is saying differently, and it's mostly women and gay dudes, right? They're like, oh no, he was gonna beat me up. I've seen him beat other people up. He's so scary. So it's like, I think this is why this guy isn't probably a great government witness, because he's admitting to shit, but he's not saying he feels forced. He's just saying, yeah, I wanted to do this because, yo, I'm trying to increase my rank. I just got on with these people. I'm fucking with them. Like, I want to show them, like, yo, I'm with y'all.
Was Diddy's album Love. And he actually said that this didn't bother him because he was young and he was, happy to do it. It was exhilarating, so to speak, because he was working on this album. That's kind of what Brian Steele elicited from him during the cross. He also spoke of certain drug dealers that he communicated with, and he mentioned the name One Stop, Guido. We saw the picture of Guido. He looks like a Guido, by the way. And someone named Baby Girl. What else? Oh, he was asked about Jane. He communicated, at some point with Jane because he set up these hotel rooms, and he was asked, I'm going into cross a little bit, but let me just make sure I didn't miss anything from the direct. He testified that the Wild King nights stopped happening at hotels after Cassie's lawsuit dropped. And then we saw photos of Baby Oil and Astroglide, and he took a photo of this because he said he was telling another assistant how it needed to be organized. And that's really it for the direct. Oh, and outfits from a sex store. He took pictures because he was asked to go, I guess, get some things during a Wild King night for Jane and Diddy, but Diddy, when he sent these photos of the outfits from the sex store, Diddy never answered. So then, okay, back to cross. So the cross-examination, again, Brian Steele was the one who kind of said, look, you are this college basketball player. You are very motivated. You're very intelligent. You would not work for anyone who was a criminal. And he said, no, I wouldn't. And he just said, was there anything, or did you think anything illegal was happening in these hotel rooms for these Wild King nights? And he said no. he just thought it was time for Diddy to have personal time and blow off some steam. Oh, in the direct examination, by the way, he did testify that he once, or he had to coordinate Diddy getting $5,000 to the hotel room for a Wild King night. So that'll be important for the redirect. But yes, so he said, nope, I didn't see anything illegal happening. I thought he was just having sexy time, some partying, whatever. And then he said, you were excited to work for Mr. Combs. This was like a big deal for you. You were, you looked up to him, and or basically he was someone that you wanted to be like in the music industry. And he just kind of said, yeah. And he said that, yes, after he would see Jane after these Wild King nights, did she ever appear sorry? Did she ever appear regretful? Did she ever appear disturbed? And Brendan Paul's answer was absolutely not. And again, he brought up the day that he stayed up really late, and he said it was for the album release, and it was exhilarating. And he kind of said, you know, do you think that you're indebted to Sean Combs for the experiences that you had? And he's like, I don't know about indebted, but, you know, he kind of said that he was grateful for the opportunity. And then, you know, even without getting immunity here, you would still tell the truth. And he's like, yeah, of course. And then during the redirect, this is what I'm getting at, the government brought up, well, what did you kind of think that the $5,000 was for when you went to go bring it to him? But there were some objections, and it didn't really get answered.
Now, it's interesting that they're, you know, again, they're at summary witnesses. They're bringing up Brendan Paul. Obviously, it's still one of the predicate offenses that Diddy is being accused of under the RICO Act. But you could tell the government doesn't have that much faith in it because they're bringing it up like 3 seconds before it's about to go to the jury, right? Like if that was the thing, maybe they would do a little bit more digging into the drug dealing, this and third. Maybe, you know, again, they got KK's phone. You know, obviously they had some message where KK was supposedly instructing, hey, bring this drugs in your bag, in your makeup box or whatever, to the trip you're going with Diddy. But nothing that kind of really makes it up to the point where, you know, it's hardcore drug smuggling, right? This is drug distribution. This is, you know, possession with intent. And I'm starting to see why they didn't bring this guy until now. And the guy doesn't seem like he has a negative opinion of Diddy either.
And she just said, well, what was your understanding? Objection. Did you provide him with cash at any other times? No, not that I can remember. And then she said, how do you feel about Sean Combs? And he said, it's complicated. When he got off the stand, they didn't look at each other, Diddy or Brendan Paul. Diddy kind of nodded his head a little bit during that testimony, nothing crazy. And then we saw some text messages that were put into evidence from Cassie and Diddy. And it was back and forth with Cassie talking about being abused. She talked about an incident that happened after the Met Gala where he dragged her. And
okay. So we're done with Brian Steele. Not Brian Steele, I mean Brendan Paul. Honestly, you know, I don't know if we need to go through all of this, right? Let me see. Sorry. There's a bunch of stuff that got entered into exhibits over the weekend. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I could log in. The government kind of leaks it in their way, and Diddy's team has given the media a direct way to like kind of see exhibits, even though truth be told, we're seeing exhibits that probably favor them. Actually, there's nothing new on here. Now it's the 24th. I haven't seen anything new for a while. What the fuck? All right. Yeah, there's not much new on here. We did get some leaks from the prosecutor who leaked the baby oil, Diddy baby oil. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on the screen in a second. Okay, here we go. And this was them basically showing the results of the raid that was in the Los Angeles mansion. So remember, they said they only found 100 bottles of baby oil or whatever in the Miami mansion, but in the LA mansion, they said it was a lot more. So they had bags like this that had baby oil and Astroglide, especially a lot of Astroglide, right? And actually, it looks like it's more Astroglide than it's baby oil, right? Like, this is baby oil, Johnson & Johnson. But it's Astroglide, it looks like it may have been 1,000 bottles of. Maybe the feds, when they said it in their initial detention hearing, that they found 1,000 bottles, it looks like it's Astroglide. This is Astroglide here, people. Like, this bottle is Astroglide for show, right? And then, yeah, Astroglide. These are boxes. Yeah, so it wasn't baby oil. So we get to have some type of correction. It's Astroglide. These are boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Does this count them twice, or is this one box right here? So let's say 16 box. 16 box. Shit, I've never ordered Astroglide in bulk, but shit, okay. It's one of them ones, huh? And then look at this. Okay, so, they had smaller bottles of baby oil. Oh, wow. Smaller bottles of baby oil, and then it's like a very eloquent bottle. This was right next to like the coffee and shit like that. Wow, okay. No, that's crazy. Again, obviously a freaky motherfucker, but is this evidence of a crime? I don't know. I don't know, right? Maybe the nigga just didn't like him or the fucking penis of the escorts getting shaved. I don't know. We've been trying to get the other exhibits. Let me see. All right. Let me see if there's more exhibits. The government mostly leaks their exhibits to TMZ. So this is like, okay. It said Diddy had lingerie, heels. Clearly he liked outfits. Here's another one. Other clothes. All right, lingerie type stuff. Okay. What is this? They have this as an exhibit of Diddy getting, they're in a studio, Diddy's getting massaged. I don't know if any of these things actually say like, yo, he's completely, like he's sex trafficking it. This is exactly what I think Diddy would be up to outside of the freak off supplies. Yeah, the dude was always getting massages all over the place. Oh, G-Dep is now defending him. Hold on. We're going to open these just to see the exhibits. This should be G-Dep. Let's see what G-Dep says. And then chat, we're going to glance over the end of Friday. We're going to jump into Monday, and then we're going to jump to the current day. So we're going to get all caught up. Remember, we're slated to, they're going to read a bunch of just things into exhibits. So they're going to enter exhibits into evidence. And then supposedly, like by tomorrow, we're supposed to get these back and forths. Or not back and forths, we're supposed to get closing statements. Here we go. This is G-Dep.
For those of you who don't know, this is rapper G-Dep. He had a song called Make This Money.
Yeah, let's get it and all that.
Let's Get It with Diddy. And that was at the height of the Harlem Shake. Take us through what you've been doing all this time.
I mean, I just came home. I was locked up. I came home like 2024 in April.
Nice.
I've just been working, man, getting it together,
So, we got to put it out there. A lot of Diddy's artists don't really mess with him. And you're one that is showing up. Take us through that.
I mean, I'm not one to judge, right? You know what I mean? I can't in all good conscience say, the brother did whatever. I love him as a brother. I'm just coming to support him,
I love to see that. So do you think that we'll see more people like you and like other artists that were signed to Bad Boy coming out to help him or at least show support rather?
I mean, I would like to see it, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Have you been in contact with anyone else?
Not too much. Loon, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, Loon.
Yeah, he waited 4 seasons, though. I don't know if he's going to come through.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for chatting with us.
Of course.
All right, ciao, guys. Have a good day in court.
All right, so G-Dep shows up. All right, cool. Let's get more into some more defense stuff. Let's see. Hey, KK, I need more baby oil. This is what his lawyer had said, which, by the way, I personally think that Diddy has penalized his lawyer, his main lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, basically because he went on TMZ. Why would you go? If you're my lawyer, I get it. Y'all trying to play a little PR. But why the fuck are you on TMZ talking about my case? And then you're answering on some dumb shit. Oh, I don't know where you got all that baby oil from. Like, what the hell? Brother. Like, either not say anything or not make it look like I'm like some fucking deviant, because here
Let's switch our focus to the government. In my opinion, I'm just going to say it the way it is. No friend historically of the successful black man, okay? None. And they start making this case, in my opinion, as a takedown of a successful black man. This is the government scrutinizing his businesses are fine. Scrutinizing the taxes, he pays his taxes. He does everything right. What's the last vestige? We're gonna go into his bedroom. We're gonna go into his bedroom because maybe we don't like the way he's having sex. Here's a man who has made some of the most important businesses owned by a black man.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. It's just when he answered this stuff about the baby oil. Okay. All right. So Diddy's not testifying, y'all. He's not going to be testifying. No surprise to none of us. You know, I think, you know, when we think about people saying someone should have testified, Tory Lanez, there's a good argument to be made that Tory should have testified. Why? First of all, in any case that there's possible self-defense, right? You want to testify. Now, granted, this wasn't a self-defense case with Tory and Meg, but if you're getting blamed and framed for a crime that you didn't do, right? And there's reasonable explanation that you could say, hey, listen, I never shot anyone. The truth is I intervened when I saw two individuals who were about to get into it with each other and someone could have got shot. I tried to intervene. You want to take the stand, right? Tory didn't take the stand. In this particular case with Diddy, I don't see why he would be able to take the stand. There's nothing he could tell us that, you know, first of all, even when he tried to do the apology, we even looked at him and be like, nigga, you're fucking guilty, right? Diddy apology. Like, him actually addressing this head on made us, like, look at him as more of a piece of shit.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. Now they're going to therapy. They're going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Yeah, you know, even when he did this, like, no one had any grace for him. They were like, oh, you just admitted it. So I can see why not taking a stand is going to be the thing, right? So cool. All right, let me just, I think there's one more exhibits. Is it this? No. Let's hit this real quick. And I think it should be good. So this is some more exhibits, and it's from, these are text messages. Give me a second. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Pause. These are text messages from Jules to, whose phone is this? We don't know. Who's this? Is this Jules to, is this Cassie's phone? Showing detailed instructions for a paid trip. So this might be Cassie, or it might be Jane Doe. Reams of text messages between a male escort known as Jules and an unidentified device owner. So they don't say who it is. Okay, we'll be able to find out who it is by what they're saying. Let's see. Device owner says, and FYI, because it's so last minute, if you can make it happen, the tip will reflect that. Just let me know. Thanks. And sorry for the late notice. So Jules says I could come. Call you back in an hour, but yes. Okay. They said, Cool. Call when you can. You just need your name for what? TLK, I guess, and time you can leave. Is 3 cool? And do you have a way of getting to the airport, or do you need me to send a car? Some leaves LAX at 3 p.m. Call or text so I can give the rest of info. Okay, I'm headed to the airport. Okay. It's another one. Here's a travel itinerary. Okay, Virgin America from flight 416. Sorry, 416. Okay. This is 09. Okay, they were going to LAX. Says thank you and have a wonderful trip. Okay, cool. So this looks like somebody who's just doing travel, right? Or maybe it's Diddy. I don't know. Jules says, okay, I was thinking tomorrow night, but definitely by Friday afternoon. Either is fine, right? Says, okay, I'll have both ready. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Okay, hit me when you land. Not her, because she don't know. This might be Diddy then. Said, got you. I'm just landing. Cool. Hit me if you have any problems and when you get in the room. This might be assistant as well. This might be an assistant, right? Who knows? I said, just got to the room. I'll hop in a shower, start getting cleaned up. I'll wait for you to tell me. He said, okay, in an hour. You got it? It says, what room? And I'll text when coming. It says, okay, let me know when ready. It says, 20 minutes, come to room 4901. Okay, I'll text first. Okay, come now. Okay. Then it's, I was hoping to fly out later tonight if you guys can arrange that. And let me know when you wanted me to come back. I'll set my alarm to it. So, okay, I had you leaving Friday, but I'll change now. If it's early, it's okay. He says, oh, I'm trying to get you out tonight now. All good. I'll let you know. And you should come up in an hour. He says, I just need to be back by 12 noon on Friday. I need a little bit more rest than 1 hour. Is that okay? I haven't slept in almost 2 days, and you guys are rabbits. So I guess, yeah, okay. So it looks like it's to Diddy and Cassie. I think this is to Diddy. It's a LOL. Okay, hit me when you wake. Sorry, bro. No stress. You let me know. It says, LOL, appreciate it. Coming. Was at the door knocking. Let me know if you're there. Okay, so this feels like it's from Diddy's phone, right? I guess I stepped out. I'm ready when you are. So, okay, come up. Sorry to disturb you. I'm just trying to, plot out my schedule tomorrow. I don't know when I'm going to fly back. He said, you tell me the perfect time and it's done. Anytime from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay. Flight info in 10 minutes. Sorry for the delay. He says, no problem. You have a 6:15. Car will pick you up 5 a.m. Come to the room in an hour. I have the rest written down. Says, okay, thank you. Sorry to bother again. Could I get the car to come at 4:15? If the flight's 6:15, last time they wouldn't let me through with 30 minutes before takeoff. He said, yes. Says, perfect. See you up there in a bit. So I'll call you when it's time to come up. Says, okay, come up in 20. Okay, should I head up? Okay, this is like an escort just on call to slang dick, huh? Says, yes, I forgot my flight info. I'm going to send. Okay, I will have to cancel some parties, but I still have the same traveling alone issue. LOL. LOL, sorry, I have to bring her. Okay, I guess he's saying that he has to bring his girl. I guess his girl was saying, yo, what's up with this? Why can't I come? And says, all right, call when you can. Says, just try to call you. Can you shoot me a text saying that you guys will be somewhere else this weekend that I could show her? Okay, so his girl is stressing him. Remember we heard about this in the trial? He says, I don't understand. I'm going to call you. He said, okay, I'll explain. Just say, hey, it's Jules. Say, hey, it's Jules. Just wondering if you guys will be in New York. I guess you're sending him the message. At your New York promotion event this week. And said, no, we're not. She's in London. I have to be in Chicago for a show. So sorry about that. Man, they got me working so much, man. How are you? Says, good. Maybe we could all hang out this weekend sometime. Take care. Peace. So Diddy sends him a fake message that he can show his girl. He says, it worked. Just leave me with voicemails. I'm available through Friday to Sunday. Whatever flights you want are fine. I just don't need a reply tonight. She's home. Yo, so look like this escort's girl is wondering what the fuck is going on. Like, why do you keep hanging out with these guys? Like, something's up. And, Diddy's like appreciative of this because he's saying, yo, I'll help you cover this shit up. Just don't tell her that you're doing this or tell us what we're doing. I'll send a message that blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. So great. So it looks like they're kind of, this is Jules is like their first escort. They're like setting it up. Everything is cool. Here is blah blah blah. I need a flight book for Friday. Da, 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 da. Look like these are all the emails and correspondence to make sure that he gets whatever he needs. So everything is with Jules. This is Jules again. Says, hey, can you call me? Say, great seeing you again. Sexy. No, this might be no. This has to be Cassie, right? Why would he call Diddy sexy, right? Look, great seeing you again, sexy. This got to be towards Cassie. Okay, P. Diddy in hotel with guests, BlackBerry and iPhone with him, BOE and Maybach was BOE, Cartier glasses in the crock bag, big computer with him, What's this? Oh, okay. So this is George Kaplan setting up a freak off room, just notating where everything is. Here's another thing. What's this? Something Chavez? Can we get some more red lights? Did you know I ordered 6 new ones? Okay, they're trying to get red lights for Diddy. Some more shit. Let us know when you'll be here. Black coolers in the garage. More red lights. Hey, Paul, there's only one more ashtray. Hey, Paul, it's possible to bring the plastic aqua hydrates, at least for the studio. Okay, they're getting it in here. Need more BO. What's BO? Baby oil. And, okay, BO is baby oil. BO, baby oil. And AG is Astroglide. Need more baby oil and Astroglide for tomorrow before everyone leaves Thursday morning. Okay. Just pack 30 bottles. Exactly how much of each we need, as much as possible. We need so-and-so on payroll if she ain't already. We need, okay, this person loved it. Says, what about our baby oil and AG count, which is Astroglide? 30 plus on each. Thank you. P. Diddy at the hotel or crib. Jane is asking me for something. Did the chef have dinner before? Did the chef leave any dinner before for Diddy? Yes, grilled chicken, green beans, and zucchini. Fire. Green beans is such a funny word to me. Felt weird typing it. She only left one plate, though. It's just him right now. Feels like a little family at the high school game. Anyone at the house? No. These sounds like assistant Texas. Right behind, copy. John about to sweep the hotel. I got some things from it. Something tonight. Yeah, okay, whatever. There's so many of these. Okay, I need to refresh the bag of dicks and send to what? Need the sex luggages and flight and light and toiletry bag ready, please. Okay, let's start putting it together when you're back. Frank, I'm going to get his food right now. So these are assistant messages. It's a blank page. Oh, never mind. P. Diddy getting ready to go meet a guest at one hotel. John is now there setting up. Please have cars ready to take him. The fuck is this? Blankets at the bathroom door. Left juices at the bathroom door. I'm taking off. See y'all soon. Have a good day. And then Frank Black. So remember, that's Diddy's phone, but it says yellow. So remember, yellow was the personal, red was the business, I think. Diddy liked it and says, I'm taking off. See y'all soon. Have a good day. He says, all right. The Edison, Jonathan Perez, 439. Just left 2 candles and a room phone in front of the room door. I'm only 9 minutes away if y'all need anything. Okay. Hey, this is Christina Karam. Hey, Jess, is that as it? What night is the flight? Need him for Jonathan and Frank. Da 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 da. Here, da da da. Jess is booking hotels. Oh. Says changing hotel, guys. Hey guys, running out of time with the credit card authorization form. I need to book. It says I'm pushing. Believe me, Jess, you might kill me, but he might not pivot back to Andrews. I'm trying to get an answer. So I'm 7 minutes from. Okay. There's 20 more of these, chat. Will you locate his Gucci pouch? Make sure it's in there, please. And if anything is out and around, it's just kind of stuff in a pack. Text me. Okay, this is all assistant messages. Yes, I ordered as follows: 16 3-ounce baby oil, 24 14 ounce baby oil, 15 5-ounce Astroglide, and 15 2.5-ounce Astroglide. Since huge is relative, let me know if you don't think that's enough. He says, somebody says, double it. Double it. So, okay, cool. Wow. We also need a new big one for whatever. Okay, so they were ordering candles, sage, all type of shit. Then they send a link for the honey packs. Holy. Y'all see this? It's the honey packs right here. You got the honey packs. Can we get 10 of these? Put it under my name. Astroglide baby oil we ordered on Amazon. Should start arriving tomorrow. He said, I could Instacart some of them today if y'all need it today. Please, let's do it. Also working on candles. I'll go pick up blah, blah, blah. Yo, the assistants are keeping it dumb professional for some extra freaky shit. I had 2 Instacart orders canceled because they don't have stock. I'm going to drive down the hill and have a few stores I see I can find. It says, can everyone in this chat do me a favor and reply with their name? I only have Joey and Jonathan. And now Brendan Paul says, Brendan. By the way, you could tell Brendan is listed as a personal assistant. Anybody who's PAs by their name, it says PA is personal assistant. So where is it at? It says Brendan PA Paul, which means personal assistant. Wow. Okay. What's this? 4 boxes of this. So I guess there's some freaky ass tea that make your dick, I don't know, make it, you know? So they're like, we need some tea to make sure Diddy could fuck all night and the strippers. What's this? This is boxes of honey in a normal spot in the office. So they're bringing it from the office. Wow. What's this? P. Diddy's asking for $1,500. Someone is 6 minutes away to drop off some stuff. I just received and used $900 and put the other in the Gucci bag. Hi, I'm on tonight on call if you need. So people are on call during the freak offs. P. Diddy at the dock. We would need a laptop for blah, blah, blah. P. Diddy, okay. P. Diddy about a kayak. P. Diddy's asking for a bucket hat. He's asking for a bucket hat. He's on the dock, back from kayak. He's with Stevie J with Rourke. Who the fuck is that? He's with Rourke? I don't know. I'm going to just read that as Rory. He's with Rory and Steve. No, I'm playing. He's with Stevie J and somebody else. Who the fuck is that? All right. I guess it says, I'm only sharing this with the group and not publicizing past you guys, but I'm leaving town tomorrow and I'll be back on Sunday. He's aware, of course. I'll be fully available on whatever. Send in the plan for this week so y'all have it and y'all can be tapped in with Frankie. And y'all could be throughout the days in case anything changes. Please read. Let me know if anything changes. Okay, so this is Christina Karam. So remember, she's a big boss. She says Tuesday we're doing various meetings. There's work things all at the house. We'll have it all outlined in the schedule. Frankie will be fully aware of all. I said Jade is going to be flying out Tuesday evening. There's a finance meet at the house on Wednesday. Jess is finalizing hotel today. I have a gift arriving Tuesday. I'm trying to see if there's anything about Freak Off. P. Diddy and Young. P. Diddy, Young Miami fly out to Turks for Young Miami birthday trip. Frank is only going with them. Still working out her birthday gift. Frank is helping with the chain. So I guess Diddy gets her a chain. We'll send the jet info, etc. once I have it. Frank will give you the passport tonight, so I have it for blah, blah. P. Diddy and Young Miami in Turks on Sunday. They're in Turks on Monday. They're in Turks on Tuesday. They fly back. Exact time and TBD. Frank, you bring some fun Valentine stuff down here because you won't be able to get them there. Let's check when's Young Miami's birthday. Yeah. So as we thought, a couple days before Valentine's Day. So they go to Turks. They're in Turks having a good time. And then basically when they come back is Valentine's Day. And we heard what Future said. Valentine's Day, the worst day of the year. Because he got too many chicks to please. It looks like Diddy was with Young Miami still. And I think Jane was feeling away. She's like, damn, like, yo, you bring this girl on a vacation. I always wanted to go there. Now you're spending Valentine's Day with her. Like, what's up? Like, why am I doing all these things for you? Right? It looks like, and here's the thing. I believe that Young Miami was doing freak offs. I just don't think it was as scheduled as Jane Doe. I think Young Miami is just a freak bitch. So, like, you do whatever. You piss on her. You take a shit on her. Like, you get a couple other people to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, she probably does group sex. Like, probably. Like, I don't know, but probably. But you don't have to set it up. I think with Jane Doe, it was more like, okay, I'm going to set it up. I'm going to have strangers. It looks like maybe Young Miami was just fucking the friends or whoever, right? Because she definitely had to be doing freak offs. It's just that Jane Doe, it was more like almost like actually a job, right? Like Young Miami was getting turned while she's doing all this. The other girl was feeling like it was a job. Okay. They come back. All right. It says only share with the group, not publication. Okay, cool. Then they have more shit. Here we go. Staff schedule for the week. John on at 9 a.m. Joey off. Okay, so this is all schedule, right? And remember, Brendan is working at this time. Cool. All right. Sharing both his... By the way, none of these things say freak off. So Christina Karam isn't like saying, okay, we're doing whatever. PD in master changing with guests to work out. He's asking for yellow phone. I think it's in his room. Let me know if you have any questions. KK's Nobu private room. Nobu private room is locked for 8 p.m. Wednesday under Frank Black. So they get him Nobu, the private room. KK likes it. All right, cool. So this really seems like a whole staff just like kind of operating to make Diddy's life like really easy, right? We're seeing these schedules. Sandra isn't picking up. All right. P. Diddy and guests are done with dinner, about to walk the island. Okay. Is Chiro not available? What? P. Diddy having dinner tomorrow night at the house with Lou, Tarek, and Robin. I don't know who those people are. Brendan Paul says he's requesting the studio guys and have the options to eat with them every night. So I guess maybe it's some music people. Remainder of pills from the AM he didn't take. Maybe offer him. So they're asking, offer the pills to him, like whatever drugs he's taking. Offer them after dinner. Say, yeah, I'll ask him for the orange cap meds with this. Okay. This is like a receipt. AFA, Diddy just had DeAndre pull out $1,200. $700 went to Guido's drug dealer, and I'm about to get them food and go to the store for the remaining $500. So that's $1,200. We'll send you receipts. I didn't even know Guido was coming. Happened too fast. So it looked like Fahim would take the receipts and be like, I'm paying you back. I don't think this is Christina Karam either. Christina Karam looked like she had access to the money, you know? These people didn't seem like they did. Okay, receipts. There's Lyft receipts. Hey, can you put that can you pull that 2,100? The guy is coming tonight, plus $1,524.60. My cash that I've spent in LA, I'm still waiting on TriStar for my other funds. So remember, that was like almost like the accounting. So they're trying to get paid back. And what is this? They say, yo, Trump security said there is a garage you can enter on 61st and Broadway for private access. They said call front desk. And then here's a room. Jonathan Perez did that on his name. It says, oh, we're 15 minutes away. Are you there? We're pulling up. Okay, we're in an elevator. And it says, FYI, he's back in the room with the guest now. We're about to feed him. We'll let you know if we hear of any more movement. I gave Deontay a key to his new room, 510. Okay, and that's it, chat. That's it. Oh, this is the broken door exhibits? Oh, so these were the doors Diddy were kicking off. Remember when Diddy was chasing, I think it was Cassie. No, this is Jane Doe. He was chasing Jane Doe. Remember he was breaking doors or whatever? These are the doors that were broken, right? So he was just kicking doors off. Remember, she ran into the closet. She ran into blah, blah, blah. She ran into whatever. So these were the doors that, Diddy was. And remember, Diddy had gave her like $12,000 and she was supposed to fix the doors. Which supposedly she never fixed the doors with the money. But now we see that. Okay. More exhibits. These are some of the pills here. Wow. Wow. I guess this was the money that they were snorting or whatever with. There's a lot, chat. Full name change from Frank Black. Okay. Yeah, they're doing a lot. Okay. Astroglide, gun safe. It's a gun safe, chat. Make this a little bit smaller. Astroglide, gun safe. Oh, let me just check on. Yeah. Astroglide, gun safe. Rooms. This is the LA house now. Disassembled guns. That. Phones. Wow. Yeah, they had that. They had the baby oil just like on the shelves like it was like shrines. Like, what the fuck? They did have a lot of baby oil still. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Oh, this is a drum. They had a flak jacket in there. Okay. Ooh, I guess this might have been some drugs. Okay. This is Diddy's passport. Yeah, this is a medicine cabinet? Some more guns. Some more guns. Supposedly this was found in the security office, though. And I don't know what this is, but okay. Yeah, I think we've seen it all. Okay. All right. Just bear with me here, chat. So bear with me. So let's get caught up. Like, we're pretty much done with Friday. Like, they did a little afternoon thing, I think, with like an agent. It really doesn't matter. I don't want you guys to miss anything though. So like, if I need to go over, I will. I had to go over the Brendan Paul thing. We're trying to get caught up to today. We're about to get to closing arguments. And once we get to closing arguments, we're going to be waiting after the jury goes away, and then we'll hear a verdict soon. So let me hear what Logic was saying. So I'm skipping slightly. Actually, I don't want to do it. Like, if we're gonna be this anal about everything, let's just do everything, right? Okay, cool. So they then call Joseph Sorelli. This is somebody else. So after Brendan Paul gets off on Friday, Joseph Sorelli gets on the stand, and he's a HSI agent, which is a Homeland Security Investigations agent for 18 years. And he's basically going to be talking about where they did, let me see. Okay, what's the name of the hotel? One Hotel South Beach in Philippines, and it's $3,000 a night. So what about this flight? Okay, so he's just verifying information that they have, right? It says, what's the name? It says Jessica Ruiz is the travel agent. What was the charges for loss and damages? $6,000. Who flew this one? Jane and Cabral. Jane from LA to Miami, and Cabral, Atlanta. While Ava says they're going back and forth about exhibits, here's one Jane messages the prosecutors just belatedly made available. Says, who is this? You want to get a party going before you spend. You want to get a party going before you spend the weekend with a boring chick. Okay, so this is almost like, Jane Doe, which is 50's baby mom, saying, yo, do you want to do a freak off before you go spend? So she was very aware that Diddy had other girls. Like, she was literally saying, let's go have like some freak off fuck party before you go hang out with a boring girl. I guess like the idea that Jane Doe was probably thinking she was sticking out by being the fun girl in Diddy's life, right? Like, I'm the girl that's going to do these freak offs with you. I know you really like it. These other bitches ain't like me, right? So, which, by the way, I think that's helped the defense, because it's kind of confusing. At one point, you're like, I'm the fun girl that's going to give you everything you need. Then the other point, when she gets a little hurt, she's like, why don't you have these other girls doing what I do? You know what I mean? Like, it's like she was making herself be set apart by saying, I do these things at first. Then she later turns to get the other girls to do it because I'm tired of doing this and getting nothing. Okay. What's this? It's a hotel damage report, okay? By the way, we all saw them. We're not looking into every single one. Hotel damage from the London report. The report says bodily fluids spread on the floor. Pictures of attached as evidence. Who are the columns in the name? It says Jane Doe, Combs, Reggie, Paul, and Cabral. Wow. This was the all-star freak-off, chat. Chat, this was the all-star freak-off. Gotta be. You have Paul, right? You know the sex worker Paul. Cabral, sex worker, right? Reggie, I gotta imagine, is a sex worker too. And then you have Jane and Combs. So basically, this is one of those times. Remember, Jane Doe infamously said to Diddy, yo, I want to show you how much I care. I'm going to do an all-star freak-off. Get your biggest, longest dick niggas, and I'm going to fuck them all. Pause. That's what she pretty much offered. She offered 3 dudes, and looked like, it was frequent that she would take 3 dudes, right? Like, here, this is Daphne, Combs, 3 dudes. This chat, so all-star freak-off. What's the problem? Okay, in between Paul, Arthur, and Combs, then Jane, it says it says Arthur Fitness LLC. There was an ATM cash deposit of $900, then $600, and then this more hotel damages. Fahim phone was seized. Yes, so they took Fahim phone. Your Honor, could we take that one down? They have a sidebar. During the sidebar, another Jane message the prosecutor made available. So this looks like this is from Jane. I'm crying. I'm so triggered by this because it's so close to some of the nights I felt forced. So remember, this is right after Cassie's lawsuit comes out. She admits, I felt forced. Please stop drugging and using women for your fetish nights. It creates demons inside of us and real trauma to women who are only doing it to please you. See, that's a little bit... Here's the thing, right? And I don't put like my personal opinion in this, but like in this message, it's clear she's saying, yo, I just read Cassie's lawsuit. Yo, you're doing all this selfish shit to please yourself. I felt forced. But it contradicts itself when in other times she's suggesting it. So remember, the message above, she's like, let's do one before you go spend your time with a boring bitch. Now she's saying, I'm triggered by this lawsuit. It's too close to home for some of the nights I felt forced. Huh? Please stop drugging. So here's the thing. I don't, if y'all are men in here, and maybe my chat queens could relate on the other side, it looks like when they're on good terms, she's owning it. Like, I'm doing this. Let's do this, right? Like, it'll be her idea at times because she wants to stand out among all the other girls, and she knows he's fucking with other girls. She wants to stand out. However, you know one of them ones, right? Where it's like, now you're beefing with her, and now everything has a different meaning. Like, y'all could be beefing over whatever. And now she's like, yo, like, she's like, oh, no, you're just the only one into this freaky shit. And I imagine Diddy could have been like, what? Wait, we were into this freaky shit, right? Who knows? Anyway, she says it creates demons inside of us and real trauma to women who are only doing it to please you. Let that pain on other women stop with me. Leave women alone who don't want to do those nights with you. Hire prostitutes and stop emotionally harming women that love you. I'm not going to lie. I do think that is a damning message. However, I think something easy for the the defense attorneys to combat, because this woman was basically admitting that she's suggested this type of behavior at some point. Okay, here's another one. It says, you want me to suck some dick so you could jet off to an island with Gina or Young, meaning Young Miami. And it says, yo, and have me to do the dirty shit in the hotel room after hotel room. Okay. And then looked like something happened. This might have been Diddy. It's Diddy. Diddy says, I'm not even horny no more. This might have been after she required him to have a condom for the sex work, and he was just like, yo, my dick not even hard no more. I'm good. Like, what? Nigga gotta wear a condom to fuck you? What the hell? Anyway, they're back. Okay, cool. Jonathan Perez sent this to Fahim. Okay. So some of these exhibits we're seeing, they're not what's being talked about in court. It's just that they're becoming available. Because many things are being put into the docket. A lot are being put under seal. AUSA says, who sends this message? KK. What does Jonathan write to Fahim? He says, I don't know if you're holding $10,000. Foz says, try to get some more now, right? AUSA says, Your Honor, I think this is a good stopping place. It said, jurors, you may leave, and they pretty much leave. Okay, so now we're at Monday, which is yesterday. So we're at yesterday in chat. Again, we're going to get caught up all with today because we, obviously my little 3-day non-bender didn't happen. So I really didn't stream for pretty much no fucking reason. So now I can't take no breaks off until we get a verdict, right? We got to go get to it, right? So let's just get caught up on yesterday.
I'm in downtown New York for what was day 28 of the Diddy trial. I've got a quick report for you today. We have our final witness on the stand for the states. It's state agent who is summarizing with a whole bunch of charts which are designed to present in a more coherent package for the jury the basis of the state's case. Much of the testimony is just reading of text changes, playing various videos, and very little new information. The only new nuance we got is perhaps some new evidence was presented today to help establish that various persons who were working for Diddy clearly had to have knowledge as to the freak-offs or the hotel nights that they were helping to arrange for Diddy, in the sense that they're bringing money and bringing drugs and coordinating, and it seems very apparent that only a complete moron would not realize what they were helping to facilitate, and that could theoretically help the state in the sense of trying to push forward with their RICO charges, that this was a criminal enterprise, assuming that they can establish that this is a crime that was going on here, and thereby getting that his cohorts were aware that he was committing a crime and helping facilitate it. So in that sense, I guess that could be deemed new information. We started our cross-examination, and what we have with Tenny Garagos, who's questioning the state agent, is trying to establish that Jane certainly seemed like she enjoyed the company of the people who were there. A lot of text exchanges between Jane and Cabral, one of the performers, as well as other performers, and between Jane and Diddy, where she seems to be expressing via text message her enjoyment of the activities that Diddy would arrange for her. Now, obviously, the state wants the jury to believe that this was all an act that Jane was putting on. I think by now, probably most people have decided whether or not they want to accept that as being an act, or whether they think that she genuinely had an interest in performing for her own personal reasons. So it's hard to imagine that many minds were changed today. I've spoken to several people who are inside the courtroom with the jurors, and they say the jury's asleep. They think that the jury is asleep, and you might think that that makes today a total waste of time, and I will tell you from a legal perspective, not really, in the sense that a part of the objective of bringing this witness on is to introduce evidence in a cohesive and digestible manner that the state is hoping that the jury will be able to use during the deliberations. So even if they're not really paying much attention now, it gives them something to sort of look back at to try and piece together if you're one juror trying to convince another as to Diddy's guilt, that would give you basically a timeline to sort of put things together to try and make it more digestible for a fellow juror to convince them that they should convict. And that's likely why they're here, meaning that the reason that we have this witness is less about trying to convince someone today, but to arm a potential juror during deliberations to convince fellow jurors that they should go along with conviction. That's the feel that I get from this, because the testimony itself is tedious, and it's not, if anything, it seems like it's making sympathies start to swing further toward Diddy. So they're supposed to wrap up completely tomorrow. It seems as if defense may not even put up any witnesses. They say there's some exhibits that they plan on submitting. We're supposed to be having an Article 29 argument. To me, that's going to be the most interesting part of this case, what we have left. We have Article 29, which is excuse me, I said article, it's Rule 29, Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, which is going to be a motion for a directed verdict. Now, the defense will be putting on, the judge's already allotted time, they're expecting on Wednesday to be getting this Rule 29.
They're not going to get it. So that Rule 29 is coming from this idea that Bana, which is, what's Bria? No, something Bungalong. Like that chick who claimed that she was hung over the balcony, she gave the wrong date. She basically showed injuries from that date that they now believe, and pretty much even the judge admitted, like, hey, either she made a mistake or this didn't happen, and it's a lie. And basically, Diddy's team has taken that to be, not only did she lie, she perjured herself. And because the jury heard that lie, their mind is forever tainted. Their mind is thinking that Diddy is hanging people over the balcony and that they could never give a fair verdict. So at least when it comes to the verdict, or partially the verdict, where they have to rule about Diddy either kidnapping or some of the things that are associated with that act, the judge shouldn't allow the jury to make a decision. He should direct them to come back with a not guilty verdict for those particular associated acts with that one lie she told. Now, what would that matter? That would probably matter with the RICO, right? So that wasn't proof of sex trafficking. That was proof of racketeering. And because there's sex trafficking, remember, there's 5 charges. One's RICO. The other 4 deals with the other 2 victims, and it's sex trafficking and prostitution. So 2 sex trafficking, 2 prostitutions. This idea of dangling somebody over the balcony has nothing to do with sex trafficking or prostitution. It has to do with the racketeering, the enterprise. And by the way, that's what Diddy's facing the most years for. If he gets convicted of that, we could assume that he's going to get 20, right? So the defense wants to pull, a rabbit out of the hat by saying, they fucked up that case in racketeering. They had people tell stories of violence and things that happened that never happened. So you have direct the jury to do a non-guilty verdict, even though it's going to be a very interesting discussion because the way how racketeering works, it's not just one thing, right? And you could be innocent of one thing, but with Diddy, they accuse him of 7 predicate acts, right? Kidnapping, arson, sex trafficking. It's all within RICO. So even if, okay, they want to say some of those things weren't real, the AUSA is going to say, you can't tell him to say not guilty for the entire charge. And of course, Diddy's team is going to be like, of course you have to tell him not guilty for the entire charge. She lied. She made Diddy seem way more violent and capable of some type of violence, which is dangling somebody off the balcony, which if someone is in the jury, they might be able to reasonably assume, well, if he would dangle somebody over the balcony, maybe he would blow up somebody's house. Maybe he would try to shoot somebody. Maybe he would do this and third or, yeah. So they're going to have that argument. I don't think it is going to be successful, but at least it's going to raise enough questions that if this goes to appeal, which if Diddy gets convicted, obviously he's going to go to appeal, they could at least bring that back up to say, yo, my man got convicted when it was understood and the judge and the prosecutor basically assumed that, or not assumed, but he admitted on the record that what this person said was false. Now, did they intend to be false or did they make a mistake? That's something else. So that's going to happen eventually, that argument.
Motion, a directed verdict would mean that the defense is going to say, before we start our case, we'd like the judge to come in and decide that one or more of these charges that he's going to direct a verdict and acquittal.
Wait, what's going on with the chat? Somebody said that, wait, what? Are we having streaming issues? If we're having streaming issues on YouTube, usually that just means refresh. Just refresh it. Okay? Yeah, if you're having any streaming issues on YouTube, just refresh, okay? Apologize.
In favor of the defendant, saying that no reasonable jury could possibly convict based on the evidence that was presented. Now, when you're defense counsel, you bring that motion, you do not expect to win it. Everyone expects that the judge is going to deny the motion, but it's a necessary step so as not to commit malpractice, because at some point later on, it becomes an appealable matter. If something gets knocked out, it's just a lot of bases to try, and there's only upside in bringing a motion under Rule 29, and there's no downside. So the judge has anticipated that. There's a lot of time for that, which is supposed to be on Wednesday. Excuse me, that should be tomorrow. That should be tomorrow. And then after you finish that tomorrow, then we're going to have on Wednesday, we'll have the defense case. And then on Thursday, we're supposed to be going right into closing arguments, which are supposed to be 4 hours apiece. 4 hours apiece.
I think that makes sense. 4 hours for closing statements, a huge case. I think we've seen a lot here that both could sink their teeth in, no pun intended, to be like, yo, as y'all have seen, this case is bullshit. You have 2 women who have buyer's remorse, who basically, I've showed y'all on multiple exhibits and multiple text messages, their own admission. They wanted to do these things. They leveraged using sexual acts to try to get and curry the favor of Diddy. They were enjoying all the benefits of it. They were allowed to leave. They were told to leave if they felt uncomfortable. Diddy even said to Jane Doe specifically, you should go do other shit. They refused to leave. They liked the bag. They liked the shit that was going on. Cassie was like, I'm going to do freak offs with you because I don't want you to do it with anyone else. At that point, what could Diddy do? So that's going to be their it's going to take 4 hours, but they're going to hammer that home. Prosecutor's going to hammer their shit home. I would love to hear what the prosecutor's like. I can't wait to read the transcript for that, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not saying Diddy, right now I see Diddy getting convicted of the prostitution charges, 5 years. Like, I see him getting 5 years, 5 to 10, okay? I don't see him getting 20 years or life, which would be the RICO charge. And that's the important thing about it, right? Anyway.
8 hours straight. 4 hours for the state, 4 hours of defense on closing arguments that are supposed to be set for Thursday. Then they're going to be charging the jury on Friday. Now, to me, another really interesting question, and they already started to anticipate there are going to be serious conflicts about the charging instructions. This is an element which I think a lot of the public tends to underestimate the incredible significance as to the language that's put into charging instructions. Because when you're breaking down what the jury needs to find, the language that you choose can very easily be interpreted as being all the difference in the world for a jury as to whether or not they feel a particular element, which is a necessary element to establish conviction, has been met. And obviously the lower the standard, or the broader the standard that the judge allows for meeting a particular element, the more likely it is that the jury will unanimously find that that element was met. So there will be a lot of haggling between the state and defense about some of the elements here, likely with respect to what's considered force and coercion under 18 USC 1591, what the jury is allowed to consider, and there's a number of different elements here which I'll try to break down for you further, which we can anticipate they're going to be hotly contested, and a decision by the judge on one way or the other can have a serious impact as the outcome of this case, which I'll tell you right now, I think a lot of these charges can go either way. That's where we're at right now. Tomorrow, as I said, tomorrow is when I'm expecting.
Okay, so, we're pretty much fast forward into today. They put it on a government witness. They were supposed to read quickly into exhibits, which is supposed to be today for Diddy. And here we go. It look like they're doing it. Let's go into what's happening today. So this is today in the trial. Let's go to the beginning, right? Okay. All right. This is before the jury comes in. Gustavo says, as we submitted overnight, we think this is relevant. Cassie's sex messages to Mr. Combs about what she wanted to do. Johnson says there were acts with Mr. Combs. These are acts with Mr. Combs in his office. They're simply just not relevant. The U.S. objection is sustained. Okay, so they're basically saying that, yeah, we're not saying every sex with Diddy Cassie wasn't down with. Cassie wasn't down with the hotel nights, the freak-offs, which happen in usually hotels under pseudonyms where there were masquerade, baby oil, and sex workers. So if she came to the bad boy office and sucked his dick, while he's at work, no, she probably was down with that. Like, she's not saying she ain't down with that. She wasn't down with sex workers back to back to back, piping her out. And then, cool. So the objection was sustained, and then the judge says here, Mr. Combs is inquiring into what Ms. Ventura was doing, and she replied, I'm trying to be your little freak. AUSA says, well, Ms. Ventura is asking Mr. Combs for an explicit photo of himself, so it's about her boyfriend, okay? So they're overruling the objection with that. So if you don't not understand what's going on, the AUSA is trying to say, we don't want things in this case that makes it look like they're having some consensual shit. Because what we're bringing up is not the consensual shit. Yeah, we're down with saying that not every single time they had sex, she was not with it. We're saying the freak-offs she was not with, right? So anything that they're kind of flirting or something that didn't happen in the hotels, the prosecutors say, no, that's not admissible because that's not part of our case. We don't care about that, right? Stavio says Ms. Ventura writes that she bought baby oil because she just couldn't stop herself. She was buying baby oil on her own. AUSA Johnson says, we don't dispute she wanted to have sex with her boyfriend. Judge says the baby oil purchase seems like it's for a freak-off, okay? So, yeah, they're arguing about what could be, mentioned or considered. Estavio says, they said Mr. Combs drugged people to make them do freak-offs, but here he's canceling a freak-off because she's feeling sick. Johnson says there's no evidence the freak-off was canceled. She wanted to have sex with her boyfriend. The judge says, all right, hold on, let's hold off. AOC Johnson says in this one, Combs asked her if she could do a freak-off without taking drugs. She says yes. It's being offered for the truth. It's hearsay. The judge says, I overrule the objection. Johnson says here, she says, I want my bank account to be right. Oh, damn. Cassie looked like Cassie was almost damn near saying, yeah, I'm doing these things, but I need to be rich off of this shit, right? Which kind of goes into the idea of work, right? Stavio says, this is Ms. Ventura demanding money. It's a command of sorts, not hearsay. Judge says, how is this relevant? It goes into her financial motive. Judge says, her financial motive in 2017? He says, I sustained the objection to 1135 on hearsay and 403 grounds, okay? Johnson says, here's the last one. It's 1417. It's about Ms. Ventura decorating a hotel room and getting flowers on Valentine's Day. Stavia says, this is sex trafficking freak-off as alleged by the government. This show, Miss Ventura set it up as a surprise to Combs. Just as this is hearsay, I'm sustaining the objection, but the defense can use her being presented with the layout of the room, the flowers, and the photo could come in with the messages. Yeah. They bring the jury in, okay? And they ask for a restroom break for seemingly Diddy. They come back. They say, Your Honor, our arguments took so long that the jurors' devices turned themselves off. The judge says, they are high-tech. All rise. Garrigo says, good morning. Pull up 1406 from December 2021. Jane Doe, Don, and Cabral. It says, turn off the attorney screens. We're going to watch some videos. Play from the beginning until 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Public and press have no idea what's being shown. And it says one juror complains that their device has low battery. It says, what does she say here? And then the agent says, remember their agent is still on the stand. So she writes, that was so fucking sexy. Garrigo says, then she writes, I'm wet thinking about it, with the heart eye emojis. Now, Paul in the chat, right? But your chart doesn't say or list Cabral's message with Jane. Let's see this other exhibit. So now it's December 2021, and she reaches out to Cabral to say Happy New Year and writes, let me know if you want to come tonight. What does Cabral say? Cericello says, he says, I'm cooking for the family, but tomorrow, sure. Garrigo says, why is that not in your chart? Remember, these charts are summary charts to basically sum up the government's case, but they're not doing Diddy any justice by having anything that might make him look innocent or help exonerate him, right? Garrigo says, under Italian, let's see, DX, okay. It says, they've been writing, I've been having crazy fantasies about Leo. You and Leo. So Combs write that. So Diddy says to Jane Doe, I've been having crazy fantasies about you and Leo. Okay? Cirillo says, he writes, Adderall is the greatest. Garrigo says she writes to him with a drool face emoji. Then in 1406, which is July 2022, so you only review what the government gave you, right? It says yes. It said Combs tells Paul to come over, right? Yes. So here Jane says, my place is free tonight. Then she writes, I got on my knees and thank God for the health of my child and for your friendship. Then heart eye emojis, right? Right. So I'll correct you. It's Venice, okay? Look like they're talking about an airport. Well, there's a private jet airport there, but it's also a place in California. Combs Garrigo says, is GX 103 between Paul and Jane? He says, I don't remember the exhibit numbers. It's all right, cool. Let's just show it. Don't do it public, but just show these messages. Is this message between Paul, Arthur, and Combs, who says his staff is leaving? Garrigo continues to say, this is the first mention of Anton, right? October 8th, 2022. So yes, he shows up. And these photos, E285, do you see a bracelet she's wearing? It says, I do. Garrigo says, Jane writes, can you come to Turks? What does he say? He says, yes, love, I have a passport, but I don't have vaccination. Garrigo says, by the way, in 2022, I know it was like COVID and shit. You needed a vaccination to go, right? Wow, I forgot. She said, can you get in Atlanta? Cabral's base. It says, a few days later, she asks about Miami, right? So this is Jane Doe writing to Diddy. So Jane writes, tonight was fun. What does he say? He says, had a great time with you, baby. Garrigo says, in April 2023, Jane, Combe, and Paul, he says, hey, Jane, true name, which is Daphne. Hey, Daphne, I'm available. And she asks about the 19th. So, Paul says he's available. Jane asks about the 19th. Garrigo says, Jane says, I'll reach out. How about P? I guess, how about Diddy? He says, Idol is available. So what does Diddy respond? He says, Combs says, okay. Did you find a location? Are you in the mood? Garrigo says, Jane says, I don't know if you're unsatisfied. I stopped and got a couple more outfits. Jane then says, I know what you like, Daddy. At the London, before you left for New York City, you did a film. You forgot it. You promised you wouldn't forget. Then there was a smirk face and a devil face. He says, I'm coming, daddy. That video you sent me was hot. Garrigo says, let's go back to GX 1406, May 19th to the 20th in 2023. Said this was Jane, Combs, Paul, and Cabral. What does Combs write? He writes, is the chef still there? She says, no, LOL. Garrigo says, pull up the text message of the personal assistants. Sorelli says, I don't know who. I guess don't know which one. It says, Miss Karam writes, for the hotel, they want fruits, outfits, shorts for him, size large, fruits and juices. She writes, are you hydrated? I'll be at the one hotel, residential side. Says, hey, hon, I had a great time. Do you see that? Agent says, yes, I do. Garrigo says, here Jane writes to Mr. Combs, I love you. I can't wait to see you with heart eye emojis. But now she writes, let's be positive. Remember how we turned around 1 star, right? He says, right. Garrigo says, he says, you got a chef. Jane says, no. Jane then says, you know, I was trying for my chefy poo. Garrigo says, Jane writes, are you up to coming to LA? How much would it be to compensate for a missing chef gig? He responds, sorry, love, I could have did it with enough heads up. Garrigo says, Mr. Combs writes, hurry up, she's at a hotel. She is horny as hell, need help, LOL. Paul responds, LOL, right? So Diddy hits up this sex worker and says, she's at the hotel, she's horny, and I need help. So he's admitting he needs help to, like, you know, satisfy her, you know? Okay. Hold on. There's a freshman list. Give me a second. I got to post the freshman list. Okay. All good. All right. Cool. All right. And Combs sends a Paul an image. It says, does it look like Shaq? Yes. And the judge says, may we have a brief sidebar. They're back from the sidebar. Okay. The judge said, we're taking a break. They said, this cross is going longer than was projected yesterday. Will they go into defense case today? Why are the public exhibit screens left off? Okay. They're back. This is 11:56, right? So now we're going. Sean Combs is in a brown sweater. He's poring over a document with his lawyer, Nicole Westmoreland. Then he stands up to talk to Agnifilo. Said, all rise. Garrigo says, you're back to 1406. Mr. Combs writes to Paul, security knows to let you in the back, right? Garrigo says, Combs says, just say P, not Paul. Jane writes, just to tell you I love you, listen to your music and making love with you. Parte, rose, whatever we were saying, back to 1406. He writes, movie night was off the chain. She says, so we try something new tonight? He says, call Italian. She says, one hotel roof, good for drinks and light bites. Smiley face, kiss face, right? She says, the agent says, right? He says, baby, I'm stressed out. Garrigo says, she says, I'm back to mommy mode. Okay, so now September 19th, 2023. So that's correspondence to many chats we looked at yesterday. So pull up 1407, not by one. Go to page 48. We want to highlight a few that I don't think we were that were in the chart. DX 3187, Combs right, headed to ATL. By the way, if you're confused by what's going on here, they're just trying to show the summary witness is not being fair. The summary witness by the government is only putting in things to summarize the case that makes Diddy look bad. And they're not being fair. And, you know, obviously the government's making their case. They're not going to make the case that you're innocent. They're saying that we're going to enter in and confirm some exhibits that make Diddy look way more innocent, right? So cool. So Combs right, I can't even look at it. It will drive me crazy. Jane writes, muy caliente with a sweating face. Said the shit was different, all of it. That was September 24th, right? It says, yes, this was a message saying we had a great DAW, D-A-W. What's D-A-W? DAW. Jane writes, Daddy want to see mommy be bad tonight, right? Slide that dick in me at the restaurant. No water. Emojis, right? Huh? This is Daphne talking to Diddy. The agent says, yes, that's what she says. Garrigo says, then she writes, I'm going to blow your mind today. I can't wait to lick your nipples. So now we get to find out Diddy likes nipple play. He likes women putting semen on his nipples. He likes his nipples licked. Diddy likes to lick nipples. Or get his nipples licked, or he likes play with his nipples, right? Garrigo says, Jane sends more emojis that were drooling. She writes, it's sexy here in the hotel. You need to run to the freak store. Let's skip ahead to 55. She writes, I didn't have time to do my nails. And what does he says? He says, I fucking love it. Garrigo says, let's quickly look at this. This is just Jane and Combs. He says, okay, correct. It says, line 913, September 30th. Jane writes, I love you, baby. Have a great show. I won't repeat here. There are no location entries until February 8th. Let's keep it going. Garrigo says, Christina Karam asked Jonathan Perez, how does he look? He said, you could put him in front of someone, but he just took a full bar, so I think he'll be asleep soon. Now we could turn off the public screen. So they're talking about the drug use that Diddy has taken. Garrigo says, here you have flight records for Jane going from LA to Miami 5 days before Combs posted post-IG video, right? It says, right. So now a phone call from Anton and Jane, which is 0 seconds. What does that mean? The clock, that's a clock when it starts ringing. Okay. So essentially, we haven't gotten to the state's case yet. Or not state case, the defense case. Here we are, though.
Today, Tuesday, June 24th. It's day 29 of the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial, and we're going in to cover it. Today, the defense case should begin. It should begin. The cross-examination of the U.S.'s final witness, Agent Cerciello, will continue. There were a lot of explicit videos shown. There were a lot of exhibits not shown on the screen yesterday. And today we'll finish, apparently, with an hour and 15, according to Tenny Garrigos, who's ended up doing most of the cross-examinations in this case. Then the jury will be let out for a bit for a Rule 29 motion. This takes place in every single trial once the government rests. The judge will rule on it. He's already sort of predicted. Again, you can't say. The odds of Rule 29 being granted seem quite low to me. But you just never know. And then the defense case will begin. But it's going to be short. And it seems that tomorrow will be the charge conference, i.e. deciding on what the jury will be told and on the verdict form. And then on Thursday, closing arguments. The big issue now is whether the jury will actually reach a decision before July 4th, which also includes July 3rd. So basically they'll have next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to reach a verdict. Can they do it? Will they do it? We'll just have to see. We'll be there every day, reporting on the notes, if any, that they pass out, and etc. So we're covering this.
So we're getting to realize that they're taking off July 3rd as well.
Which also includes July 3rd. So basically they'll have next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to reach a verdict. Can they do it? Will they do it? We'll just have to see. We'll be there every day, reporting on the notes, if any, that they pass out, and etc. So we're covering this all the way. The week 6 books is out on Google Play, and week 7 is already underway after one day of week 7. So before getting to the courthouse, let me say, today is election day here in New York City, primary.
Okay, so we kind of get what is kind of going on a bit. All right. So they're kind of dragging it. It's really Diddy's team. Like, they're dragging this idea of trying to read things into evidence.
Because I got such a great.
Did they do lunch yet? No?
Presented this in any case.
Okay, we haven't had that yet. Okay, so they're dragging it a bit. And let's go look at Unk. What's Unk's channel? Soul G. They're a bit dragging it that Diddy's team want these things to be read into y'all got a chart that makes Diddy look bad, but let's just keep bringing up Jane Doe wanting to have freak offs, Cassie wanting to have freak offs. Like, they want, like, that's going to be the constant back and forth consistently. Here we go.
hold up, I gotta go get my, I left my, and shake down the cell, but they would say, make sure you go shake down Puffy's cell. And after he had already met with his legal team and had notes, the COs went in, took pictures of his notes, detailing his defense strategy, and gave it to the prosecution before the trial. And Alexander Shapiro talked about that. I got the paperwork.
That must have been before.
Don't play with me. Alexander Shapiro.
Yeah, we kind of heard about that before.
Man that helped you. Period. If it was me, I would have brought, as a defense witness, Young Miami.
Nah, you can't. Yo, chat, I agree with this. I agree with Diddy's not bringing no one to the stand. I agree with it. You're going to introduce more people and open up a can of worms that you don't want to. At the end of the day, they came with two victims. Cassie and Jane Doe. Yes, I do know Mia claims she was a victim too, but there's no charge for Mia. Actually, there is under the RICO Act for some forced labor and some bribery, I think. Capricorn Clark, I get it. But you don't want to bring more people that could possibly testify to, oh, nah, me and him did go to Turks after he beat the shit out of Jane Doe. Yeah. Did you notice that he had a cut on his face too? Like, you don't want to open up a can of worms, right? Because again, some of these things, like the government isn't going to just be like, oh, that's your witness, so we're just not. No, they're going to use Young Miami to corroborate things. Hey, Daphne said he fought with her or she fought with him after she got fed up with doing these freak-offs, and then he ran to so-and-so with you. What did you guys do over there? Did you guys have sex workers? Did you notice that Diddy had a scratch on his face because she was fighting back and she told him no? You don't want to open those can of worms. Not saying none of that happened. I'm just saying you don't want to open those can of worms, right? Like, no. Well, it's going to look bad for you to put anybody on the stand to try to normalize, to only help him, not to hurt him, only help him, but normalize this sexual perversive behavior, this sexual deviant behavior. It's going to look just incredibly bad. So I understand why all these, the only thing I could have seen if somebody was going to take the stand is maybe bodyguards. And the bodyguards may have testified, hey, I was around both of them. They were both violent. Oh, well, did you see her crying? Did she ever tell you she never wanted to do this? No. Actually, everybody was telling her, yo, you should go home. If you say Diddy keep putting his hands on you, go home. Why are you here? She would tell us she's here for the bread. I could see a bodyguard that's for Diddy going up there and saying that, but you still open yourself up to too many things. The prosecutors laid it out. You know what they said? Yo, what did you tell D-Rock? What was D-Rock trying to do here? Why was he hitting you up after the lawsuit? Why did he say he want to drop something off to you? You don't want D-Rock on the fucking stand having to answer to those questions, right? Because after a while, it's going to look like he's just up there completely lying, or his statement is just not going to help Diddy.
Some of Puffy's other honeys, and I would have put them honeys on the stand for them to say, yo, he ain't never treat me like that. I don't know what they talking about. I don't know what Cassie the rat is talking about. I don't know what Jane Doe the rat is talking about. I would have brought definitely some of the other women that I was dealing with.
No, you definitely don't do that. You definitely don't do that. I'm telling you, the reason why you don't do that, chat, is going to be, you got to remember, whether these women are thinking they're for Diddy or not, what the prosecutor is going to say is, hey, have you done these type of things with Diddy? And maybe they'll say no, which is like you're irrelevant at that point. But if you've been like, oh no, like, first of all, what woman wants to get up there and admit that she's having sex with multiple other dudes for Diddy and then claim, oh no, I do it because I like it? Like, no woman wants to do that, right? It's embarrassing. But okay, imagine somebody does. The prosecutor doesn't need them to turn against Diddy. They could still use them against Diddy. Hey, when did you start doing these freak-offs with Diddy? Hey, is it true that you were behind on your bills for this amount of time? Is it true? What was your job at this point? Is it fair to say that Diddy was the only person that was financing you and you relied upon him for your bills, your rent, and such forth? Do you get what I'm saying? There is a way that even if these people think they're helping Diddy, the prosecution could actually paint them out as, oh, these are also other people who are stuck in the cycle of abuse, who don't realize it's abuse yet, but they're admitting the same things. Hey, these type of behavior started when I needed him for money. Hey, has he ever given you something and taken it back? Has he ever told you that you have to do this for this to happen? Did you ever feel like you could leave? Right? And maybe they answer some of those questions right, but you could ask them in an interesting way where it looks like they're a victim as well, even if they're for Diddy. You don't want to put nobody else. Again, unfortunately, this type of freaky behavior, there's no way to normalize it. There's no way to normalize it. And the more you keep throwing it in the face of the verdicts, it's not going to normalize it. They're just going to be like, oh, maybe you're like Cassie in 2014. If they want to believe that's how Cassie was, right? Like, oh, there was 10 years that Cassie thought this was normal. So if Diddy brings someone else like, hey, she's been having freak offs and she ain't saying nothing, they're going to just hit her with the same psychotherapist shit.
Put them on the stand. I would have brought another psychiatrist to rebut everything that Dr. Dawn Hughes said.
I agree with that one. I do agree with that one. And not only do I agree with that one, the idea of not bringing any witnesses. Now, granted, it's witnesses. We don't know if it's expert witnesses. Like, for example, remember we heard at the beginning of the trial that Diddy was going to go with this defense that says, you know, it wasn't insanity, but it was insanity adjacent. Basically saying, we're going to go off the idea that Diddy was a drug addict that was, yes, he was completely under the influence of drugs for years. He didn't sex traffic, but if we see some of these violent outbursts where he's, you know, having super hot and cold moments, anger issues, he's maybe putting hands on somebody, not saying it's right, but he's not charged with that, but we could explain it with our own psychologist. He was under the influence, and it's kind of like he wasn't responsible for his own actions. So don't look at him like this monster, right? Don't look at him like a monster. But they're not bringing their own psychologist from what we know now. But they should have, because they submitted a whole motion to try to, you know, a pretrial motion for that to be considered as something that they could go along the route with.
You know, but after I thought about it, right? And after being in the courtroom, in the overflow, every day on the 24th floor, I thought about what I heard. I thought about what I saw. Because what I heard and what I saw, the jury heard and the jury saw. And it's a hell of a strategy. It's a hell of a strategy and a psychological chess move to the jury to say, look, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We ain't got to present nobody. We ain't got to present nobody because the prosecution, everybody that they put up, we destroyed them. Everybody that they put up had an immunity deal. Everybody that they put up was suing Puffy for millions of dollars. Everybody that they put up lied everybody that they put up met with the prosecutors 27 times, 24 times, 8 times, 11 times, 14 times. Everybody that they put up
rehearsed,
gave you compelled testimony in an effort to further their own personal agenda with their own civil suits. Breonna Bogelin suing Puffy for $10 million. Dawn Richard suing Puffy for $6.5 million. Mia suing Puffy for $10 million. Jane Doe, who's a cooperator and a rat, she ain't sued him yet. She ain't sued him yet, but let him get convicted and her suit gonna come down. So I think it's a good strategy. I think it's a good strategy to say, hey man, we did our thing. We busted this girl perjuring herself on the stand in front of a judge who allowed it to go on. If I was the judge, and I don't know if I'm able to as a rule as a judge, but the minute that perjury came out, I would have admonished the witness and the prosecution and told them, based on the testimony, you have perjured yourself, and I am going to do an investigation into the evidence, and I will be pressing charges against you and holding you in contempt of court for this perjury, to let it be known on the record that me as a judge, to respect my name and to protect my reputation as a judge, because Judge Submarini's reputation right now is that he's soft. He's soft. You could go in his courtroom, you could lie. You could go in his courtroom, you could misrepresent facts. You could go in his courtroom and commit perjury. You could go in his courtroom and leak evidence, and he ain't gonna do nothing because he weak. That's what his behavior, his performance has indicated to the world. A more senior judge would have been like, yo, you perjured yourself? Did you? Oh, you finna go to jail. Let me do an investigation. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it.
I'll disagree with him on that. I've been hearing really positive and strong things about Submarinian. I see in the title here, it says Submarinian only has 2 years experience, but I hear he's really fair, though. I hear he's really fair.
Corpus and a right to due process in court. And you know what I'm saying? That's what it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? What you want from me? What you want from me, man? I'm gonna go back up here. I want to hear the closing arguments.
Yeah, the closing arguments won't happen till tomorrow, I believe.